The Treasury Star Parade. Under the personal direction of William A. Beecher, with Lanny Ross, Todd Duncan, Genevieve Rowe, Audrey Marsh, Al Goodman and his orchestra and chorus, and Henry Hall as our master of ceremonies.
Any bonds today? Bonds of freedom, what we're selling any bonds today?
And this is Henry Hull, ladies and gentlemen, with another of the programs brought to you by the Treasury Department. Of all the light operettas I've ever heard or seen, none touched me quite so tenderly or moved me quite so deeply as Jerome Kern's Showboat, which started a new trend when it was first produced here in New York 12 or 14 years ago. I've never forgotten it. Its music is haunting, melodic, and truly American. I think it was Jerome Kern at his best. The original star of the radio production, Lanny Ross, is right here with us to sing Make Believe, Why Do I Love You and You Are Love, with Genevieve Rowe. Audrey Marsh is on tap with her trio of I Can't Help Loving That Man, and our old friend Todd Duncan is back to sing Old Man River. Al Goodman has put them all together, and we won't say a word until it's all finished except thank you, Jerry Kay, for a lovely bouquet.
only make believe that you love me. Others find peace of mind in pretending. Couldn't you? Couldn't I? Couldn't we make believe our lips are blending in a phantom kiss for 2 or 3? Might as well make believe I love you. Oh, to tell the truth, I do.
Gotta swim and birds gotta fly. I gotta love one man till I die. Can't help loving that man of mine.
Can't help it, no, no.
Tell me he's lazy and tell me he's slow. Tell me I'm crazy, well maybe I know. Can't help loving that man of mine.
Can't help it, no, no.
When he goes away, that's a rainy day. And when he comes back, that day is fine. The sun will shine. He can come home as late as can be, 'cause home without him ain't no home to me. Can't help loving that man of mine. No, no.
Mississippi, colored folks work while the white folks play, pulling them boats from the dawn to sunset, getting no rest till the judgment day. Don't look up and don't look down, you don't have to make the white folks frown. Bend your knees and bow your head and pull that rope until you're dead. Let me go away from the Mississippi. Let me go away from the white man boss. Show me that stream called the River Jordan. That's the old stream that I long to cross. Old man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. From the Mississippi, don't plant potatoes. He don't plant cotton. And then that land is soon forgotten. But old man River, he just keeps rolling along. He's always rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that bar, lift that veil, get a little crop, and you'll land in
This is Lanny Ross, ladies and gentlemen. You know, being here today, I feel somehow that I'm talking to a lot of old friends. People that I've known for a long time and who know me. People all over America. And I've been thinking, we're a mighty lucky bunch of people here in this country. We've still got radios and our government still lets us listen to them. We can think what we like and say what we like, and we do. Right now, though, we're a little shaken up. We haven't made up our minds about some things. But there's one thing we all realize, and that is that we've got to win this war. I was talking today with one of the men from the United States Treasury who was down here to listen to our show. He was telling me about the new quota drive which they are launching to raise the money that we've got to have to win this war. They are asking us, all of us, to invest 10% of our earnings, our total incomes, in war savings, bonds, and stamps. We're going to have that much money if we are to win this war. To do that, we may have to give up a few things. But surely that won't be hard, will it? All of us here in America have got to do our job. We must raise our quotas. 10% of everything we make. Every dollar you invest in war savings, bonds, and stamps is a dollar invested in the future of America. Remember, this is your country. Keep it yours.
Hello?
Daddy, this is John.
Oh, hello, John. I was going to call you in a few minutes.
Well?
I got engrossed in this catalog.
Catalog?
Yeah. I've ordered the most wonderful trout rod. $50.
Trout? Can you afford to spend that kind of money on fishing, Daddy?
Well, can you keep a secret, John?
Well, sure.
I got a $5 raise.
Oh, well, congratulations. I'll bet your wife is happy.
She doesn't know about it.
No?
I'm going to stash the money each week until I get enough to pay for this equipment.
Oh.
And then I'll tell her. I think.
Oh. Well, Daddy, don't let Snooks find out.
Oh, don't worry about Snooks. I've already hidden $15, and if the kid hasn't found out yet, she never will.
Well, I hope not.
Nobody's even seen this catalog. I'll talk to you later, John. I have to put it back under the carpet.
Okay, Daddy. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, I'd better stick this thing away again so nobody...
Push it under good, Daddy.
Snooks. Some paper got stuck under the carpet. Paper. Got stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny, isn't it?
Is it?
Guess I'll have to get somebody to help Mommy clean these rooms a little better.
You don't have to, Daddy.
Why not?
I heard her tell Aunt Sophie she was going to mop up the floor with you.
When did she say that?
Right after she found the $15.
No. Snooks, she didn't find the money.
Didn't she?
Oh. Well, how did she find it?
I think someone told her where it was.
Why, impossible. Who saw me hide the money?
Robespierre.
The baby? Did he tell Mommy?
No. He told me.
Oh, so that's it. You went and squealed to your mother.
I did not. I only squealed to Aunt Sophie.
Aunt Sophie? Well, everybody knows now.
No, Daddy. Only the three of us.
Oh, just the three of you? All told?
Yeah, and we all told.
Well, I guess the jig's up. I suppose you all know how I got the money?
Uh-huh. You got a raise.
It's like living with the Gestapo.
What are you going to do with the money, Daddy?
Oh, I was only going to borrow it for a while.
Yeah.
I wanted to hold out $50 to buy some new fishing tackle, that's all. I was going to square it later.
You feel bad, don't you, Daddy?
Oh, what's the difference? Nobody cares how I feel. But I won't stand for it much longer. Someday the worm will turn.
Ain't it the same on both ends?
No. Someday I'll take matters in my own hands and show everybody who's boss. I earn the money, don't I?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm entitled to spend some of it on myself. What if I did get a raise? I work for it. She can buy hats and stockings and shoes and...
And girdles?
Yes. She's living off the fat of the land. Why can't I have what I want?
What do you want, Daddy?
A fly rod. A measly little $50 fly rod.
It's a lot of money to catch flies with.
I don't want it to catch flies.
Oh.
I want to catch fish. That's the only pleasure I have, isn't it? Do I do anything else?
You don't even catch fish.
Well, I go fishing.
Yeah, I know you go.
It doesn't matter to me whether I catch anything or not. I'm a born angler.
That's what Mommy said.
Just what did she say?
You got more angles than...
Never mind that. I'll show you who's got angles. Well, I'm going to start wearing the pants from now on.
Ain't you been wearing pants, Daddy?
No.
Mommy don't.
Now leave her. I'm not going to tolerate it any longer. Where is she?
Daddy, she might hear you.
Oh. Well, I'm going to have it out with her once and for all.
I'll go get her.
No, wait. Let me think about it. You go to bed.
I want to help you get the money for the fishing rod, Daddy.
Oh, how can you help me?
I got some money. I've been selling newspapers.
You have?
Yeah, I buy the newspapers for 3 cents apiece.
How much do you sell them for?
2 cents.
Now, what good is that?
No good?
Why, of course not. If you don't make any profit, what's the sense of selling papers?
I like to holler.
Right to holler.
I like to holler.
Well, I can't imagine where you get that strange desire.
Oh, Daddy. Well,
Well, I've got a right to holler. Oh, How much money have you got from your newspaper hauling?
3 cents.
That's not enough. I need $50. Oh, look at this, Rod Snooks. Did you ever see anything so beautiful?
No, Daddy.
$50. It's a steal.
Let's steal it.
No. I guess I'll never get that much money.
We could choke the cat, Daddy.
Choke the cat?
Yeah, choke the cat.
What on earth for?
Remember when you came home from the poker game?
Well?
You said there was $10 in the kitty.
Well, that's something else. It has nothing to do with choking cats.
Why?
Because it hasn't.
I got an idea how to make some money.
How?
You dress me up and I'll go out on the street and give my chicken imitation.
Well, what is your chicken imitation? How do you make money with it?
For 5 cents, I crack it like a chicken.
Yes.
And for 10 cents, I lay an egg. And for 50 cents, I eat a worm.
Oh, go to bed. I never heard such nonsense in all my life.
I'm only trying to help you, Dad.
Oh, I suppose you mean well, but come on, I'll tuck you in bed.
All right.
And don't worry about the money. I guess I can do without that rod.
I want you to have it, Daddy.
Well, it's no use. Since Mommy knows I got the raise, nothing can be done.
She don't know about it.
She what?
She don't know about the $15 either.
You mean you didn't tell her?
No, I didn't tell her.
Well, why not?
'Cause I didn't know where you hid it.
Well, what was this story about Robespierre finding it?
I made it up.
I don't understand it. How did you know about the raise?
I heard you talking to John Conti on the phone.
Oh, so that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Want to make a deal?
A deal? Is this blackmail? By the very idea, trying to What's the deal?
I won't tell Mommy if you don't spank me no more.
Well, it's very dishonest to make such a deal, son.
No, it ain't.
But these are extenuating circumstances. I'll quit spanking you until I get the $50.
I wish the rod cost $100.
But I want you to understand I'm going to make up that money to Mother some other way. I'll do an odd job here and there.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
Oh, well, now I can get that rod. Oh, boy, I'm the happiest man in the world.
When you going fishing, Daddy?
On the first hot day.
Yeah.
And when it's real hot, I'll catch a great big one for you.
Will you?
You bet. Just give me one hot day, and I'll be out pulling them in. Now say your prayers and go to sleep.
Yes, Daddy. Dear angels, please take care of Mummy and Robespierre and Aunt Sophie and Uncle Louis. Amen.
Snooks, what about me?
Oh, yeah. Please, dear angels, make it hot for my daddy.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Ace have moved into an apartment, having given up their bungalow when Mr. Ace lost his money. Their friend Marge still lives with them, and also Jane's 18-year-old niece Betty, who has come to town and already found herself a job. Mr. Ace, however, is still looking for work. This episode takes place early in the afternoon at the apartment. Mr. Ace has just come in. Listen.
Here.
Hello.
Well, why are you home so early? What's the matter?
Oh, nothing.
It's only 1:30.
I know, Jane. It's just that I've done all I can today. I've been talking about jobs everywhere I could, and I left this new phone number after I called you to find out what it was. Did anybody call after I phoned you?
Not a call. The man put the phone in about 10 o'clock this morning, and not one person called. Present company accepted, dear.
Oh, thank you, dear.
You're welcome, dear. I wonder if he put the phone in right.
Oh, he must have. They know their business.
Oh, I don't know. He kept asking me if we wanted a French phone, and I kept telling him nobody here understood it.
Nobody understood it.
I must have told him a dozen times if I'm a day, the way he kept insisting on it.
Yes, Jane. Would you mind? Let's not make an issue of it.
Say something?
Let's not start anything about the telephone. Let's just hope it rings sometime this afternoon.
All right.
I just want to sit around anyhow and take it easy. I haven't been feeling any too good lately.
You haven't? What's the matter?
Oh, I don't know. I wondered myself. In fact, I dropped in at Doc Goldie's office this morning.
You did? I didn't know you felt that bad.
Well, I wanted to make sure there was nothing critically wrong.
Well, what did he say?
Well, he said, he hit the nail right on the head.
He did? Did it hurt?
Did what hurt?
You said he hit your nose.
Yes, that was my fault. I meant what he told me was certainly right. He said I'd been working too hard lately.
Working too hard?
Yes, that's funny, isn't it? When I told him I hadn't been working at all for a couple of weeks, he looked a little startled, and he changed it to I've been worrying too much lately.
Well, that's more like it. I think you have to, dear.
No.
Yes, I do.
Well, I could have saved $5 for coming to see you instead of the doctor, couldn't I?
Now, see, you're worrying again about the $5. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Jane, I won't worry. I'm just going to sit right here and try to take it easy.
Yes, now just sit right there and relax there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to turn out all right. Now, you just wait and hear.
Wait and hear?
Yes, for the phone to ring.
Oh, I see. Well, that's all I can do at the moment.
That's right. Now, just sit back. Somebody will call up, don't worry.
I hope so.
I do, too. Well, it's nice and comfortable in here today, isn't it?
Jane, I'm afraid we won't be able to hear the phone ring if you keep on jabbering away like this.
Oh, well, I guess we'll just be quiet, huh?
That's a good guess.
Dear, would you like to take a shower?
A shower?
Yes, I always find the phone rings most when I'm taking a bath.
I see.
Well, how about it, George?
No, not now, Jane. I'm quite comfortable now.
That's nice.
It is pretty cozy in here at that. I guess this is a pretty nice choice in an apartment we made at that.
Oh, yes, I'm getting used to it now.
I mean, as long as we did have to give up our home.
Well, this is our home.
Yeah, well, at least it'll have to serve as our home for the time being. It's just too bad that this all had to happen at this late stage of the game. Just as we were doing so well, beginning to...
Now, don't talk like that, dear.
Oh.
What's the matter with this place? You said yourself just now it's so cozy here. You look very comfortable there. Isn't it nice to have some place to come and stretch out before a fireplace with a dog at your feet and a pipe?
Yes, only there's no fireplace and no dog.
Shall I get your pipe?
No, I don't feel like smoking just now.
Oh. Would you feel better if we got a dog?
No, Jane, will you forget about it?
Well, I want you to feel comfortable here, dear.
I do. I'm not worrying about myself anyhow. I'm just sorry all this had to happen to you.
Me? I don't care if we have a dog or not.
I'm not talking about a dog. That would be a fine thing. A dog, another mouth to feed.
Now, dear, that has all the earmuffs of a dirty dig. Do you mean Betty again?
Well, I'm sort of resigned to her now.
Well, she's working, isn't she?
Yes.
And she's going to pay us something every week for living with her?
Yes, I know.
I'm not worrying about that part of it. I'm worrying about finding some fellows for her.
Oh, don't bother yourself with that now, Jane.
Well, you read that letter my sister wrote me. She said she couldn't get Betty interested in any boys back home, and she wants me to do something about it.
But why take on any added responsibility?
Well, I don't mind playing Cupid for my own niece, dear. I like to do it.
All right, Cupid, if you enjoy it.
Well, I would enjoy it if she would only let me invite some boys over sometimes. But she's so obstinate she just won't listen. She keeps saying they're such a bore. How does she know? She's never seen
She's so set in her ideas. For a young kid, she has some pretty serious thoughts, worrying about the conditions of the world.
Yes, isn't it, Jane?
Yes.
If she'd only take off those glasses she wears, or only wear them when she reads, maybe. She's really pretty, don't you think she is?
Yes, I guess so.
She looks just like my sister. When my sister was Betty's age, she was as pretty as a fixture.
As a fixture, yes. Well, I guess it'll turn out all right.
I hope so.
She'll probably meet people where she's working, and they'll invite her.
No, that's just it. I thought maybe she'd meet the boss's son, like they do in the movies.
The boss's son?
Yes, but she had to take a job where the boss is a bachelor.
Oh.
Of all places.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's just... Oh, sarcastic, huh?
Well, I think it's pretty lucky she got a job at all. Very lucky to run into somebody that happened to need a secretary and getting herself $25 a week, you know.
But if she could have got some rich man with a good-looking son, He'd come to the office someday in his open roadster and see Betty there and offer to take her home from work in the rain.
In an open roadster?
Well, or a taxi even.
Oh, you'll settle for a taxi?
Anything. And then he'd want to know when he could meet her again, and they'd begin seeing each other all the time, and before you'd know it, he'd ask her to marry him.
And his father would cut him off without a cent?
Yes, and he'd... No, he wouldn't. If anything, the father would come to Betty and offer her a lot of money if she would leave his son alone. And she tears up the check, and the father sees it's no use, so they live happily ever after.
Shall we stay for the newsreel?
What?
What kind of a movie is that you thought of?
Of course, I know I'm counting my sheep.
Before they're hatched, huh?
Yes, but it would be nice if they...
Oh, there's the phone now.
Wait a minute now, dear. You just sit there, and I'll answer
But, Jane, it might be one of those calls I'm expecting.
Well, I'll tell you if it is. Hello? What? No, you've got the wrong number. Goodbye, then.
Well, that's irony for you. First call, and it's the wrong number.
Oh, yes, well, don't worry. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, Betty and the boss. Oh, what I just did.
What?
That phone call.
What about it?
He said, is it E4055? And I said, wrong number.
405. Why, that's this number.
I know. I'm just so used to our old number.
Oh, isn't that awful? I told you to let me answer it.
I know, dear. I don't know what I'm thinking
Oh,
of.
you're sitting around dreaming about Betty and her boyfriends. Now, would you please let me answer the phone from now on? That might have been one of the jobs that I left my number at.
Well, they'll call back, won't they?
I hope so. Only the way things are now, I don't want to take a chance of losing out on anything. So from now on, will you...
There it is, dear. Speak of the devil.
I'll answer it. Maybe my luck's changing. Maybe I'm going to get a... Hello? Yes? This is he? Yes, this is Mr. A. Oh. Yes, Mr. Stevens, I know it is. Well, I'll be in tomorrow and make the payment. Oh, yes, without fail. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
What is it, dear?
Oh, it's an insurance payment that's due. I've been so mixed up lately, I let it slip by with it. Miss Wilson used to remind me of it at the office. I'll have to hop over there tomorrow and pay it.
Dear.
Yes?
I've got about $400 in the bank.
No, Jane, thanks.
But I mean, if you need some
I've
money...
got a few dollars left, enough to meet expenses for the next few weeks anyhow. I'm not that destitute yet. Just that my insurance comes due at this time. That's what makes it kind of difficult.
Yes, it never rains in my pores. But honestly, if you want some money, dear, I'll be glad
I don't need any, Jane. Came out of the whole thing with about $600. Of course, this insurance takes quite a chunk out of that, but I'm sure something will be turning up before long.
Oh, sure it will.
Oh, I hope so, only it just looks pretty black right this minute.
Well, it always does, dear. That's a sure sign something good's going to happen. Don't you know that when things look very black, 9 times 10 something good happens?
9 times 10, huh?
Sure, now just sit back.
Oh, there's another call. No, I'll get it, Jane.
All right.
I don't think there's any other bill collector that'd be... Hello? Yes? Speaking. Who? Yes, I'll hold on. Well, Neil Williams calling.
You know what March isn't here. You ought to know March isn't here at this time of day.
He's calling for me.
Oh, for you. Well, what is
Hello? Yes, Neil. How are... Well, I just happened to be here. I just walked in a little while ago. What? Marge told you all about it, huh? Yes, I've been having a little trouble No, I'm not proud. Anything at all. Oh, what could I do on a newspaper? I'm not a writer or... Oh, I see, yes.
What is it, dear?
Well, that sounds like something. Sure, I'm interested, but what kind of a job would it be? I mean, Sure, we'll be home all evening. Yes. Thanks so much, Neil. Thanks. 8 o'clock, fine. So long.
What is it, dear?
He says he can get me a job on the post.
On the post? Why, you can't write.
I told him that. He said I didn't have to. It would be something I can do. He said he would come out tonight and tell me all about it.
See, what did I just tell you? I told you
Yes,
something.
but I wonder what it could be.
I don't know, dear.
Oh, I hope it's something I can do.
Well, all we can do now is wait for Neil and pray. I'm sure that he... Oh, did you hear that little joke I made up? Kneel and pray.
Yes.
Well, it seems like old times.
And so Jane and Mr. Ace wait for Neil and pray. Their prayers are answered with the proposition Neil has, as we learn when next we meet the Easy Aces.
West Music Hall with Bing Crosby, Victor Borga, John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, the Music Maids, and Hal, and Bing's distinguished guests from the United States Army Air Force, Captain Floyd J. Sweet of the Glider Training Detachment. And here's Bing Crosby.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, they have fought the country's battles on the land as on the sea. First to fight for right and freedom and to keep their honor clean. They are proud to claim the title of the United States Marine.
To the shores of Tripoli, they have fought our country's battles on the land and on the sea.
If the Army or the Navy ever land in heaven's sea, they will find the streets are guarded by the United States Marine.
Like the United States Marine Corps, friends, the old Kraft Music Hall is getting around these days, being relayed by shortwave to our fighting men in every strategic quarter of the globe. Dutch Harbor, Trinidad, Reykjavik, Corregidor, Port Darwin, North Island, Hawaii. Greetings, men of the United States, soldiers and sailors of the United Nations. Greetings from 135 million citizens to whom no sacrifice can be too great to give you anything and everything you need.
And they need so much. Bing, did you read that the metal in 62 little old toothpaste tubes can hold together all the electrical joints in a heavy bomber?
Takes many more than that to hold Bob Hope together.
Oh, you better buy some string. I understand they're even going to cut down on coins due to the shortage. Did you read that, Ken?
Well, no, I didn't read it, but I've noticed it.
The shortage of metal?
No, the shortage of coins.
Oh.
Might be a small paper shortage, too. They say the life of a dollar bill is only 6 months.
Well, look at me. I never had one die on my hand.
Do you think they'll ever make tires out of some substitute?
Say, it wouldn't surprise me if they made up tires out of chewing gum.
Well, that's ridiculous. What makes you think chewing gum would last?
Did you ever get a piece on your shoe?
Well, whatever we say, war shortages and priorities have changed our ideas about a lot of things.
That's a fact, Ken. You know, I actually cringed the other day when I saw a guy on the boulevard wearing a patch suit.
Now, don't knock a patch, Satch.
What's
A patch today is a badge of conservation.
Yes, I know, but this dude was wearing a double-breasted patch with cleats.
Oh.
I suppose you know they're cutting down on the amount of goods in women's clothes by 17%.
Yeah, and if that includes bathing suits, you gals will have to go in the water this summer.
Even slacks are going to be hit, and they're the answer to a girl's war work problem.
Yes, sir, for war work, slacks really do make a gal spick and span.
They'll make her look spick if she hasn't too much span.
Well, she can avoid that span by going easy on sugar, which... Well, that reminds me, Bing. Boys' clubs all over the country have voluntarily cut candy consumption 50% for duration.
Be a great saving on oil.
Huh? Well, how can kids cutting down on candy save oil?
Castor oil.
Oh,
Say, I just happened to think, what about rubber heels? Will we be able to get new ones when our old heels are all run down?
Oh, we've got no time, Mary, to worry about running down our heels. We got to concentrate on running down a pair of heels in Berlin and Tokyo. It's going to take all we got, and it's going to take lots of sacrifices. But nothing we do here, nothing we can possibly give up bears any relation to what we stand to lose. That's why every American is being approached to pledge a portion of his income for war bonds. Pledge a big portion. Sail first cabin. And when you think you're giving till it hurts, just remember that it can't hurt when you're only giving your money. There's many that are giving more. You're not even giving it, you're lending it to the greatest cause in the world. Those 4 freedoms without which there never could be any happiness. Happiness can be all kinds of things that gladden the heart, everything from love's first kiss to something as brilliant and intellectual as a song like I Doed It. All right, Mary.
Should I kiss him? I should or shouldn't? Oh, Ma, he's such a pippin'. If I do, I get a whipping. I do this. Should I squeeze him? Or all I oughtn't? Oh, Ma, his spell is trippin'. If I do, I'll get a whipping. I do this. Oh, I should remember what the mama said. Girl, you gotta mind me. But when there's a cutie buzzing round my head, she's never around to remind me. Should I kiss him? I should or shouldn't? Oh, Ma, I think I'm slipping. If I do, I'll get a whipping. I do this.
Should you kiss him or should you shouldn't? Oh, Mommy, she's really slipping. If you do this, she gets a whipping.
I do this.
Yes!
Oh, you broke my winter arm.
She's a girl and she shouldn't.
They don't know me very well, do they?
If you do this, she gets a whipping.
I do this.
Yes!
You broke my winter arm. You broke my winter
What your mommy said, daughter, you gotta mind me.
But when there's a cutie buzzing round my head, she's never around to remind me. Should I kiss him? I should or shouldn't? Oh, Ma, his hair is wavy. He's a Louis in the Navy. I do this.
Yes!
I do this.
Yes!
I do it and I do it again.
Thank you very much, Mary. Comes now our friend from Denmark, Victor Borge, who opens later this evening in Hollywood's latest smart spot, The Little Truck. Our best wishes, Victor.
Thank you, Bing. I think I need your best wishes. And a party of 8. But right now I would like to show you how music very often illustrates something entirely different from what it was meant to illustrate. Like the other morning I took a shower. It was a very cold shower. Very cold. Was more ice than ice. My radio was on and the gypsy played his violin. As a matter of fact, I don't know whether it was his violin, but anyway, he played a violin, whoever it then belonged to. But he played it very good. And it was funny how the gypsy music illustrated me taking a shower. And I'll show you how he played his violin. This number, you would think of me taking a shower. When you look at pictures of composers, you wouldn't believe that music could be funny. They all look very sad, and they aren't sad all the time, only when they have their pictures taken. And I can prove to you that they didn't write one single piece of music which doesn't represent a certain kind of laughter. And I'm going to do it now. I even laugh when I think of some of the composers' names. For instance, Tchaikovsky and Rimsky-Korsakov. You see, that's it. And listen to the music they wrote, all with laughter. It's a certain kind of laughter, of course. Even a simple scale is funny. Ha 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 ha. And here's the Russian laughter. Oh, oh, oh. Then there's the French laughter, the gay laughter. what about this? You know this laughter very well. Ha 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 ha. That's a sad kind of laughter. The waltzing laughter. But sometimes there's laughter you are not supposed to hear, even if it is there. Like the other night in New York, I went to the Metropolitan Opera when I heard the Lucie de Lammermoor with a giggly. The soprano was wonderful, and she brought a lot of weight to the opera. About 300 pounds. And she sang 5 parts in the famous sextet. It was about 60 pounds for each. She started out very seriously, but every time he watched her upper register, he couldn't help laughing. And that spoiled the whole evening. He wasn't supposed to laugh, but I'll show you how it went.
Skylark, have you anything to say to me? Won't you tell me where my love can be? Is there a meadow in the mist where someone's waiting to be kissed? Skylark, have you seen a valley green with spring where my heart can go a journeying over the shadows and the rain to a blossom-covered lane? And in your lonely flight, haven't you heard the music in the night? Wonderful music, faint as the will-o'-the-wisp, crazy as a loon, sad as a gypsy serenading the moon. Skylark, I don't know if you can find these things, but my heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you lead me there? Haven't you heard the music in the night? Wonderful music, faint as the will-o'-the-wisp, crazy as a loon, sad as a gypsy serenading the moon. Skylark, I don't know if you can find these things, but my heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you lead me there?
That charming little chant song was written by those two good men, Mercer and Carmichael.
Somebody else is taking my place. Somebody else now shares your embrace. While I'm trying to keep from crying, you go around with a smile on your face. Little you care for vows that you made. Little you care how much I have paid. My heart is aching, my heart is breaking, for somebody taking my place.
Somebody else is taking my place. Somebody else is around and sharing your embrace. While I am trying to keep from crying, you go around with a smile on your face.
Little you care for vows that you made. Little you care how much I have paid. My heart is aching, my heart is breaking, for somebody taking my place.
Time marches back. 1916. World War I is in its third year. 1916. Explosions, the munitions works on Black Tom Island, New Jersey, cost several lives, caused millions of dollars property damage. 1916. Woodrow Wilson is reelected to the presidency because he kept us out of war. And in every home in the country, men who keep a keen eye on the passing scene are saying,
Gee, how do you like Trish Speaker taking Ty Cobb's place after 6 seasons?
What place, Harry?
At the head of the American League batting.
Batting what?
Batting baseball. The game. The 2 leagues. Remember?
Harry, you needn't be so sarcastic. I know all about baseball and how many leagues there are, too. I can even name the leagues. Major and minor.
Why do I get mixed up in these things?
Now, which league is this Mr. Cobb in?
He's in the American. He's been leading the American League batting list for 19, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Then along comes Trish Speaker and takes it away from him.
This Mr. Speaker must be very capable.
Very useful man with the willow. Yeah. But wait, I'll bet you Cobb comes back next year and wins again. Yeah, in 1918, too. Yeah, and in 19... You just wait and see.
Let him wait and see if I care. Say, Harry, is baseball really so interesting?
Interesting. You realize that the gate receipts for the World Series this year were $385,590?
$385,590 for one game?
For the Sirius. 5 games. The Boston Red Sox won 4 and the Brooklyn Dodgers won 1.
1-1. Well, then it was a tie.
The Dodgers only won 1 game.
Those Brooklyns can't be very good.
Yeah, them bums.
Harry, why don't you get interested in a game you can play? A nice, genteel game like golf.
Yeah, he flips cow past your pool. Yeah, don't catch me running around in them plaid knickerbockers.
Why not? Your mother was a bloomer girl.
Did I say anything about your relatives?
Well, I don't see why you can't play golf in just ordinary long pants.
You don't see. Look, Chick Evans wears knickerbockers, and Chick Evans happens to be National Open champion and National Amateur champion, and you don't see. You think he'd wear those little boys' pants if he could dress like a man?
Well, don't baseball players wear knee pants?
Don't change the subject.
Hey, Harry, I see in the paper that they've killed Rasputin.
Where was he umpiring?
Rasputin.
Oh.
You know, the Mad Monk.
Oh, yeah, sure, the Mad Monk. How could I forget him? Oh, they're wearing them higher in the wire. Higher, higher, higher in the wire. The beautiful beach at Waikiki is not the only pretty sight that you can see.
Oh, Harry. How can you sing such things?
What's wrong with that? Did you ever hear? There's a little bit of bad in every good little girl, and they're all the same.
Oh, is that so? Then why did you choose me?
I don't know.
You didn't know what?
Where did Robinson Crusoe go with Friday on Saturday night?
If you must sing, why can't you sing pretty songs like Roses are blooming in Piccadilly?
Never been there. Say, there's nothing wrong with the Pacific Northwest, though. Had to go on. I want to go back to Oregon, where they call me Uncle Joe, not Uncle Jack.
Oh, that one. I feel like that was better. That was like, down the silver cymbal, tambourine and timbrel, struck my fingers nimble.
That's good, that's good. There's a little Philharmonic, but it's good. However, me personally, I think the best song to come out this year is, Everybody loves a baby, that's why I'm in love with you. Pretty baby, and
And I'd like to be your sister, brother, dad, and mother too. Pretty baby, won't you come and let me rock you in my cradle of love? We'll cuddle all the time. Oh, I want a loving baby, and it might as well be you. Pretty baby of mine. Everybody loves a baby, that's why I'm in love with you. Pretty baby, and I'd like to be your sister, brother, dad, and mother too. Pretty baby, won't you come and let me rock you in my cradle of love? We'll cuddle all the time. Oh, I want a loving baby, and it might as well be you. Pretty baby, pretty baby of mine.
Hey, Dr. Crosby, are you familiar with that field artillery song, The Caissons Go Rolling Along?
I enjoy singing it very much.
Yes, I've heard you, but do you know it?
Go to your room, young man.
No, now, wait. I just wanted to ask you, just what are caissons?
Caissons?
Yeah.
They're, caissons, let's see.
Yeah.
They're a sort of, a thing that you kind of, whatever call it there. You get wheels on it, the fellas sit on them, and the horses pull them, and they don't put the necking guys. They're motorized.
Dr. Crosby.
Yes, you're clear on what a caisson is now, huh?
No, I think we still need a brief pause for caisson identification.
Good night, all. Now that everybody knows what a caisson is, we continue with Kraft Music Hall matters involving Captain Floyd J. Sweet of the Army Air Force Glider Training Detachment, Victor Borgia, John Scott Trotter, and at the moment, Mary Martin and friend in Lily from Laguna. There used to be a gal named Lily.
Lily from Laguna.
She met a sailor boy named Willie.
And they sailed away on a schooner. Now all night long.
And most of the day.
You hear the Russian Matty say,
Oh, she's my lady love, my only queen, my baby dove. When I bring a ring around to Rose, it's a secret all Laguna knows. I know she loves me. I know she loves me.
How do you know?
Because she said so.
Oh.
She is my lily of Laguna, my only lily and my rose.
At the trolley stop, that's where I meet my lollipop. When he tips his little sailor hat, I can feel my heart go ticky-tack. I know he loves me. I know he loves me.
Well, how do you know?
Because he said so.
Did I say that?
And everybody in Laguna
big mouth.
knows I'm his Lily and his Rose.
You're my chickadee,
Your Dixie bird.
my bumblebee.
Oh, what fun beneath the silver birch.
A stealing kisses on the old back perch.
I know he loves me.
I know she loves me.
Well, didn't I say so?
That's what she did. You are my lily of Laguna,
My only lily and my rose.
You know, when the Nazis captured the Greek island of Crete with an airborne army riding in gliders, a new form of military transportation passed the experimental stage, and brought into sharp perspective the United States Army Air Force Glider Training Detachment down at 29 Palms, California. We saw some newsreels of this group in action a few days ago, and we promptly made arrangements for Captain Floyd J. Sweet to join us here in the Gold Kraft Music Hall and bring us up to date on this blossoming branch of the Army Air Force. Just to sort of begin with fundamentals, Captain Sweet, just how would you describe a glider?
It's a box kite with delusions of grandeur.
Well, that's very interesting, Captain. Now tell me, what is a glider?
It's really nothing but a highly efficient airplane having standard airplane controls, but no motor.
No motor? Well, isn't that carrying priorities a little too far?
We get along all right. Gliders can loop-the-loop, do wing-overs and barrel rolls, and even fly in formation, just like powered ships, as long as we have a rising column of air to travel on.
Well, there's no shortage of air down there in the desert at 29 Palms, eh?
None whatever, Bing, and the dry lake we have for our field is, of course, an excellent thermal generator.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Is that good or bad?
That's good. The uneven heating of the ground causes considerable vertical motion of the air. The glider pilot hitches his glider to these rising air masses, or thermals. That's all there is to it.
Oh, it all sounds so terribly simple. I don't understand it at all. How do you get your ship into the air in the first place?
There are various ways, Mary. There's airplane towing, or we can launch them with a winch. Often the glider is lifted into the air by means of a speeding automobile.
Oh, like a pedestrian on Wilshire Boulevard.
Only the gliders land safely.
Oh, 29 Palms, where your field is. Isn't that right in the heart of the date country?
You wouldn't think so to hear the men grumble.
You must know the country pretty well down there, John Scott. You made many a trip down to Palm Springs.
I sure do, Bing. I've been all over around 29 Palms. You know how I like to travel.
You do.
I want you to look like a globe, Trotter.
Do you ever take up passengers, Captain Sweet?
Look, John, if you got yourself in mind, Captain Sweet's got a glider, not a flying fortress.
I don't know, Bing. In spite of their flimsy-looking construction, gliders are actually tougher than most power planes. In a thunderstorm, for instance, a high-speed power plane must fight the elements, while a glider can use the disrupted condition to her advantage and literally ride out the storm in safety.
How come you call a glider her?
Ever try to control one?
No comment.
Well, how long can a glider stay up in the air, Captain?
Well, Lieutenant William Cook remained in the air 21 hours. That was at Hawaii. John Robinson, one of our instructors, set a free-soaring record of 290 miles. These are both somewhat short of the international record.
It sounds fantastic to me. How long does it take a man to master the bird-like art of motorless flying?
Our primary course at 29 Palms takes 4 weeks. During that time, a student gets 30 hours in the air, or a total of over 200 flights. Care to come down to the field and try a hop, Bing?
Well, I told the boys I'd be down to the school.
It might be a little strange to you at first. No landing gear, no motor, no propeller.
No thanks. They go in for gliding in Denmark, Victor?
No, Bing. In Denmark, they don't go in for gliding anymore. But they used to go out for gliding because they found out that when they went in for gliding, the ceiling was too low.
Yes. Did you ever go up in a glider, Victor?
That's not for me.
Why? All gliders are equipped with parachutes. In case of emergency, all you have to do is pull the cord.
That's not for me either. A friend of mine once jumped from a high place and pulled the cord, but it didn't do him any good.
Why not?
His neck was in the end of it.
Say, Captain Sweet, how big do these gliders come?
Well, during the spectacular invasion of Crete last year, the Nazis used troop-carrying gliders as big as the average transport plane. Several of these can be towed by one plane and released at a high altitude, many miles from their objective. They glide silently down and land close to the goal. Out of each glider comes a complete combat team, fully equipped and ready for instant action.
Gee, that's a pretty effective offensive weapon.
Yes, and perfect for the air transportation of men, equipment, and supplies. Glider experiments have come along so fast that gliders will probably be the freight trains of the future.
Well, I think it'll take quite a batch of pilots to carry out this glider program for war and peace, Captain. How's the best way for a man to go about getting into the glider department?
Right now, it's desirable that a pilot have at least the minimum training of the Army Air Force primary schools or a civilian pilot training course.
Well, then the way to go about getting into the glider detachment is to take one of the CPT courses or into the Air Force and apply for assignment to the glider detachment.
Primary schools or a civilian pilot training course.
Well, then the way to go about getting into the glider detachment is to take one of the CPT courses or into the Air Force and apply for assignment to the glider detachment.
That's right. And the Army Air Force is at present anxious for the enlistment of air cadets. We are also especially anxious to obtain medical officers. Due to the Army's tremendous expansion program, particularly in the Air Force, there's an acute shortage of flight surgeons.
Well, these doctors, of course, they'll be commissioned, won't they?
Naturally. The grade will depend on experience and other qualifications. All information may be had by writing to the Air Surgeon, headquarters of the Army Air Force, Washington, D.C.
Well, I hope the Air Force gets all the flight surgeons it needs, Captain, and thank you for giving us a healthy respect for those box kites with delusion of grandeur. Keep them flying.
You buy them, we'll fly them.
Okay, Captain. Well, that's a fair enough offer, and that's what we're going to do, too. And here's Mary with a song for the glider detachment. Thank you, Marion. From the strains of Old By Jingo, we return to our Danish friend, Victor Borger. Got something very special, haven't you, Vic?
Yes, Bing, it is. You know, when I was a little boy back in Denmark, at night, very often my mother would sing me a lullaby. And when I grew up, I played it so often for her. This little lullaby was written by a very famous Danish composer, Fini Henriques. It has no special name, just a lullaby. Only a few weeks ago I heard that Fini Henriques had died, so I would like very much for you people in this country to hear a little of the music written by this famous countryman of mine.
lovely, very delicate, and very charming. Comes now that... That's the hottest satchel full of Memphis blues I ever heard. From now on, we're going to call you John Scorchtrotter. Should we, however, now switch moods and drift delicately into the tune that Burke and Van Heusen wrote for Kay Kaiser's new picture, My Favorite Spy? You know, that Just Plain Lonesome?
We just could, sir.
Well, then let's just do it, sir. I'm glad we made the most of every moment. Those memories help a lot while we're apart. I don't mean to say I'm unhappy, and I don't think I've got a broken heart. Just plain lonesome, that's how I feel tonight. Just plain lonesome, that's what it is, all right. When I think of all the fun we've had, I guess I don't feel bad. Just, you know, kinda sad. I got your letter, showed all the neighborhood, and your picture, gee, but you're looking good. Folks all miss you. Outside of that, nothing new. Just plain lonesome for you. Fun we've had, I guess I don't feel bad. Just, you know, kinda sad. I got your letter, showed all the neighborhood, and your picture, gee, but you're looking good. Folks all miss you. Outside of that, nothing new. Just plain lonesome for you. Until next Thursday, friends, that's got to get it. 1 week from now, however, same time meeting took up tonight, we'll all be back in the old Kraft Music Hall. We, of course, being Mary Martin, Victor Borge, John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, Ken Carpenter, the music maids and Hal. Over and above, and in addition to these sterling regulars, we're also expecting Commander Gene Tunney of the United States Navy, Larry Adler, harmonica virtuoso, and the charming young picture star, Joan Leslie. That's next Thursday. Right now, won't you join all of us right here in the Kraft Music Hall in listening to an important message from Price Administrator Leon Henderson. Mr. Henderson will speak to you from Washington.
What are we fighting for? To make our soldiers the best informed in the world, the War Department for the past several months has been presenting discussions before the troops of all our Army posts of the nation's best-known commentators. In them, the causes, issues, and strategies of the war are brought before the men of our Army. Each Thursday at this time, the Columbia Network visits one of these Army posts to pick up one of these talks and to broadcast it to other Army posts, both in this country and overseas. Tonight, we are at Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, before 1,000 officers and men. To introduce tonight's speaker, we now present the post commander, Brigadier General George L. Van Dusen.
Officers and men of Fort Monmouth, and those listening by radio at other Army stations in the United States and overseas, today we are to hear an internationally famous writer and foreign correspondent who has spent much of his time in the countries of which he is about to speak, the countries of our allies. As special writer for Collier's magazine, his articles in the last 2 years have revealed not only the strategy of war in Britain, Russia, and Africa, but also the manner in which our allies have dared death that freedom might live. So it is most fitting that he should speak to us of our allies, your comrades in arms. It is my pleasure to welcome to Fort Monmouth Mr. Quentin Reynolds.
Thank you, sir. I've spent most of the past 2 years in England, in Russia, in Libya, and I'm returning to the war zone within a week or so. During the past 2 months, I've been bouncing around this country, spending a lot of time in factories which make war material, spending a lot of time with the men in charge of civilian defense. During that time, I've been asked a lot of questions about your comrades in arms. What kind of fighters are they? Can they take it? Can they give it? I've been asked a lot of questions about the Russian army and about the Russian people. Maybe you fellows have some of the same questions in mind. During the past few years, the Nazi propaganda in our country has been very effective. Congressmen, senators running for office who had no other issue on which to stand would dig deeply into the political grab bag and come up with that old political chestnut, beware of the Red Menace. Consciously or unconsciously, they worked hand in hand with the Nazi propagandists. And we, like dumb sheep, believed half the lies we heard about Russia. I was there last fall. It took me about a week to find out that the Russians are our kind of people. It took me about a month to realize that they had absolutely no interest in overthrowing our kind of government, and that they had no sympathy with American communists who were of that mind. In fact, I found out that the Russians were greatly embarrassed by American communists who gave them such a bad name. All the Russians wanted was to be left alone. That's all they want now. When the war is over, they'll keep on with their form of government, communism, but they don't care whether any other country adopts it. People ask me, can we trust the Russians? I think close to 2 million of them who have fallen in battle have proven that the Russians can be trusted until the death. I sometimes wonder when people ask me that, whether or not the Russians can trust us. I met a Russian captain who was on leave from the front while I was in Moscow. He talked English and we became very friendly. One night I was sitting with him and with an English correspondent. We had a few drinks of vodka, And as happens when you have a few drinks of vodka, you get to doing a lot of talking. We started making plans for after the war. What kind of a world would it be after we've licked the Germans and the Japs? The British correspondent and I had all sorts of plans. The Germans would have to be kept in check so we wouldn't have to go through all this mess again. But how to keep them in check? That was the question. Oh, we had plenty of ideas, none of them very good. Then our Russian captain said quietly, "We in the Red Army have a plan. After we have chased the Germans out of our country, we'll keep right on and chase them back to Berlin. Then you British keep out of it for a month or so. You Americans keep out of it, too, for a little while. Just let us be the army of occupation for a month, and things will adjust themselves." Yes, we can trust the Russians all right. The Russians are filled with hatred for the Nazi army, which completely devastated the Ukraine and southern and central Russia. Hatred is a good, healthy emotion. Countries which don't hate tyranny enough have proven easy victims for Hitler. Belgium, Holland, Norway, France, they didn't hate fascism enough. The Russians do, and they're proving it. Remember, the Russians aren't fighting for communism. The Russians are fighting for Russia. Believe me, they're our kind of people. And sooner or later, when you get to the front with them, fighting at your side, you'll realize it. In a fight, a Russian is a good man to have along. In my tour around this country, a lot of people asked me about the British. I was amazed to find that a lot of people thought that the British weren't doing much fighting on their own, that they were letting the Canadians and South Africans, New Zealanders and Australians do it for them. I think that this sort of talk sprang from that master propagandist of the radio, Lord Haw-Haw. He's been harping on it for months, and a lot of our countrymen have believed him. I've seen the British fight. I saw the British civilians fight back in London, in Plymouth, in Coventry, in Southampton. I saw bombs destroy their homes, kill their children, wound and maim half the population of cities, but I never heard one Britisher say, "Let's quit." I've been with the British Navy running the gauntlet of the English or British Channel, slipping through the submarine-infested waters of the North Atlantic. I've been out on their trawlers, mine-sweeping, and I've been with them in the desert. Only 3 months ago, I was with a British regiment, the 1st Royal Sussex. It was just an ordinary line regiment. It had orders to capture a place called City Omar, south of Tobruk. City Omar was nothing but a 1-mile raised plateau in the desert, heavily held by Germans and Italians. To make things tougher, the Germans had surrounded the plateau with a minefield. You know, there are always gaps in a minefield through which tanks and men can pass safely, if you can find the gaps. For these tough men of the 1st Royal Sussex, most of them farmers or the sons of farmers, were in too much of a hurry to look for any gaps. They busted right through the barbed wire, they and their tanks. They rushed through the minefields, although 100 machine guns were trained on them, mowing them down. You know about those mines. They're buried maybe 10 inches below the sand, and the tread of a man's foot will explode them. These British soldiers I was with knew that, but they yelled to hell with the mines and broke through. It was pretty horrible. 10 tanks blew up, but the men rushing behind the tanks didn't stop. They wanted to get in close with that steel. Some of them did. Hundreds didn't. But those crazy men who were so filled with the healthy emotion of hatred toward our common enemy kept on. And once they were in close, it was a beautiful sight. It was a beautiful sight if you hate Germans as I hate Germans. It was a beautiful sight to one who had been on the defensive for 2 years, taking it all the time, to see these British soldiers giving it. They didn't show much mercy. When the smoke cleared and we were in complete possession of the plateau, the Germans made a counterattack. a nasty one. They came as 24 tanks and with their dive bombers. They gave us plenty of hell for a while, but those British soldiers are bulldogs. They held on. For 3 days and 3 nights they gave it to us, and then reinforcements came and we were all right. I told the colonel in command that I'd been on lots of fronts, but never in my life had I seen men fight like this. It was the greatest exhibition of courage I'd ever seen. The British colonel smiled and said quietly, I saw men fight like that once before. It was at Chateau Thierry, and the men were United States Marines. Yes, the British are fighting and dying, but the British War Office is much like our War Department. They don't believe much in patting themselves on the back. They don't believe in making public heroes out of men who have no desire to be anything but good soldiers. So the world hasn't learned much about the way the men of Britain fight and die. Only a handful of us correspondents have been privileged to see them in action. They die very well. You can't give higher praise than that to soldiers. The Germans know how to fight, and they know, too, how the British fight. I've talked to lots of German prisoners. They're good soldiers, mind you. After all, they've been trained since birth in this business of murder. They're professionals at it. Their pilots are good, too. But they fear one thing, the British Spitfire. The Spitfire won the Battle of Britain, just as our Curtiss Wright P-40s are winning the Battle of the East. The Germans fear the Spitfires just as the Japs fear our pursuit ships. I went to a hospital in Kent one day to talk to some German prisoners who were there. There were 12 German airmen who'd bailed out over England and who were in this ward. A doctor came in and was horrified and angry to find that 11 of these 12 German airmen were covered with black and blue marks. And he turned to the nurse and said angrily, "What's the meaning of this? Have you allowed someone in here to beat these men up?" She said, "Oh, no, doctor, it isn't that at all." He said, "Why are they covered with black and blue marks, then?" She said, "Well, doctor, last night, that 12th German airman was delirious all night. And in his delirium, he kept crying out, 'Spitfire, Spitfire.' And every time he cried out, 'Spitfire,' the other 11 bailed out of bed." Don't sell our allies short. They're fighting men just as you are fighting men. Don't believe the propaganda from the enemies outside our country and from the enemies within our borders. For 2 years, they've tried to tell us that this wasn't our war. For 2 years, they've tried to tell us of the great difference which existed between America and Britain and Russia. But we know better now. We know there's only one fundamental difference between America and Britain and Russia. It's this. Here in America, we drive our cars on the right side of the road. In England, they drive to the left. And anyone who's ever been in Moscow knows those crazy Russians drive right down the middle of the road. But the road to Berlin is a wide one. And there's room enough on it for all three of us. And America can take the right side of the road. And Britain can take the left of the road. And Russia can take the middle of the road. And we'll go swinging along, side by side. No matter how long the road is, or how many detours there may be through the Far East or other places, it won't bother us, because we know that as long as we three trust each other, that road will bring us to Berlin together.
From Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, the War Department and the Columbia Network have broadcast the fourth in a series of talks to American soldiers here and abroad as part of a comprehensive program by the Army designed to keep our soldiers the best informed in the world. The speaker tonight on this series, titled "What Are We Fighting For?" was Quentin Reynolds, foreign correspondent and associate editor of Collier's Magazine. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Soldiers, sailors, and Marines, sound off.
Well, hello, man. You're bound to win, because this is Larrap and Lou Crosby bounding up here to sound off with the 4 tunes you elected to hear by vote and ballot. Your tune parade fairly oozes with sugar for this sweltering session. And special service, Los Angeles, USA's posted the winners on the jive board. So anchor your shoes while we bring you the news. Number 4, A Pick with a Kick. Ballads from New Caledonia were tattooed with the following words. We'll get it. Tommy Dorsey's Crew with Buddy Rich thumping the tubs. Sound off. Brethren, that's freewheeling where there ain't no ceiling. Come down and stick around, though, 'cause here's a tasty concoction from the shades of yesterday, all dressed up in brand new rags. You're going to love it. Comes under the heading of number 2 on your favorite foursome. The second trip for this little dip was made possible by unanimous approval from the cats that abound up in Greenland. A gal fell for the sweet talk, sort of hanging on the ropes. The tune, You Made Me Love You, the gal, Dinah Shore, and the guy, strictly censored.
You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. You made me love you. And all the time you knew it, I guess you always knew it. You made me happy sometimes. You made me glad. But there were so many times you made me feel so bad. You made me cry, for I didn't want to tell you, I didn't want to tell you. I want your love, that's true, yes I do, indeed I do, you know I do. Give me what I cry for. Got the kisses that you know I'd die for. You know you made me love you. You made me love you. I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to do it. I want your love, that's true, yes I do. You know that I do. Give me what I cry for. You've got the kisses that I'd die for. You know you made me love you.
Dinah, honey, now I told you about the little man with the dart. You know, the little dude in the nude. Attention, men. Here it is again, your sound-off special. It's just the other side of this Cosmo. We can't applaud this arrangement enough to suit a certain gang up on the Alcan Highway, so latch on now to the words of a current hit here at home. Hit the Road to Dreamland, and it's Dick Powell, Mary Martin, and the Golden Gate Quartet.
Bye-bye, baby. Time to hit the road to dreamland. You're my baby. I dig you in the land of Nod.
Hold tight, baby. We'll be swinging up in dreamland all night, baby, where the little cherubs trot.
Look at that knockout moon, been a-flowing his top in the blue.
Never saw the likes of you.
What an angel. Bye-bye, baby. Time to hit the road to dreamland. Don't cry, baby. It was divine.
But the rooster has finally crowed. Time to hit the road. Bye-bye, baby. Time to hit the road to dreamland.
Hold tight, baby. We'll be swinging up in dreamland.
Pardon me, ma'am, and pardon me, sir. This is not a job that we prefer, but it's strictly a railroad regulation that we close this car before we reach the station. So if you'll forgive our effrontery, we'll be as brief as we can be. Yes, yes, a good children, getting on time to hit the road. King Solomon once and his wisdom said, there's nothing quite like a good feather bed. That may not be just a written word, so don't quote me, cause I only heard. And then I couldn't misunderstood, but if he didn't say that, then he certainly should. Cause in this world with its killing pace, a man's got to find a good resting place. There's early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Yes, yes, a good children, getting on time to hit the road. With everything electric that mechanized, if you do get nervous, I ain't surprised. But listen, good people, you can't cure ills with capsule tablets and the vitamin pills. And the only thing to rest your head is a good night's sleep in a quilted bed. So just resolve to be good and firm, cause the early birds are gonna catch the worm. Yes, yes, a good children, getting on time to hit the road. Now see that moon shining way up there. His chops are all beat and he ain't nowhere. He's dying to get some shut-eye too, but he's got to stay up and light the way for you. So be good chillin', treat him right, he'll shine like a lantern tomorrow night. It's 2:30, that ain't no crime. We hope you've had a most enjoyable time. We surely do thank you for your friendly call, but we're forced by law to say good night all. Yes, yes, a good children, getting on time to hit the road. Yes, yes, a good children, it's getting time to hit the road to dreamland. It's getting okay, baby. Don't think that we all need a building to fall on us.
Time to dim the lamp.
Time to hit the ramp.
Oh, back to our abode.
Time to hit the road. Time to hit the road. Yes, yes, the good children getting on. Time to hit the road. It's getting on. It's getting on.
ain't much to say, so let 'em put me away. Yeah. Ah, yes. Now to ease the minds of all you men who are sort of wondering about the final payoff here, let me say that this Jump Jewel's a real standout. #1 and well done. We're proud you chose such an appropriate ditty, and the gang over in New Guinea will smile all the while. Your #1 hit, Der Fuhrer's Face. Spike Jones and his City Slickers with the Backroom Boys loosen the lyrics. Sound off.
When the Führer says, wie ist the master race? Wie Heil, Heil, right in the Führer's face. Not to love the Führer is the great disgrace. So wie Heil, Heil, right in the Führer's face. When Herr Goebbels says, wie own the world in space? Wie Heil, Heil, right in Herr Goebbels' face. When Herr Göring says, he'll never bomb this place. Wie Heil, Heil, right in Herr Göring's face. Are we not the Superman? Aryan pure Superman.
Ja, wie ist der Superman?
Super duper Superman. Is this Nazi land so good? Would you leave it if you could?
Ja, this Nazi land is good. We would leave it if we could.
We bring the world new order. Heil Hitler's world new order. Everyone a foreign race will love the Führer's face when we bring to the world disorder. When the Führer says, he is the master race, we Heil, Heil, right in the Führer's face. Not to love the Führer is a great disgrace, so we Heil, Heil, right in the Führer's face. Führer says, he is the master race. He Heil, Heil, right in the Führer's face. Not to love the Führer is a great disgrace. So be Heil, Heil, right in the Führer's face.
And that's just putting it mildly. Gates, with that tasty broadside, we've paraded the sound-off winners for your listening pleasure. Don't forget to cut loose and let them come now. Pick your pet song today and get all the votes you can for it. Maybe your friends will help you turn the trick of landing that favorite on your tune parade. Send all ballots and votes to Special Service, Los Angeles, USA. Check once more there. Special Service, Los Angeles, USA. Here's wishing you the best of luck. This is Larrap and Lou Crosby reminding you that Sound Off is presented for you fighting men of the United Nations by the Special Service Division of the War Department of the United States of America.
fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. Faithful Indian companion Tonto, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. The stories of his strength and courage, his daring and resourcefulness, have come down to us through the generations, and nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! Run the trail of outlaws! I'm Silver!
The tiny western town of Split Rock was a huddle of less than 15 small shacks along one dusty street. The two men on the porch of the general store didn't even take their spurred boots off the rail when a young rider galloped in from the hills to the west.
I reckon that's young Ted Jenkins coming back to Split Rock. Fanning the dust, too. Young Sprout's in a hurry.
Yeah, he's always in a hurry.
Yeah, full of boyish enthusiasm, bubbling over with pep and ginger. He'll grow up.
Whoa, boy! Whoa there! Whoa! Whoa, boy! Whoa! Howdy. Howdy, Mr. Dobie. Howdy, Mr. Shane.
Howdy.
Sure is a hot day, isn't it?
It's hot, all right, Ted. But it's going to be a whole lot hotter when your ma finds you. Well, you were supposed to be gone just overnight. Instead, you've been gone 3 whole days. You're going to catch it.
Oh, shucks, Ma won't mind. Say, you know where I was?
Telegraph line, I'll bet.
Who told you?
Oh, son, ever since the town of Split Rock learned they was stringing one of them newfangled things past the Marjorie Range, that's all you ever talk about.
Oh.
Mean to say you went 70 miles out of your way just to see that useless gadget?
Oh, it's not useless, Mr. Dobie. It's the wonder of the ages.
Oh.
Why, it is, too. Just think, a little ordinary wire, no thicker than a cactus needle, and they send messages on it. Messages all the way from San Francisco to New York. That is, they will when they string the line the rest of the way.
And what good is it? Just a lot of foolish nonsense.
I wish they'd strung the line through Split Rock instead of 70 miles away.
Now, look here, young Jenkins. What's the difference? We get news plenty fast enough already. Why bother having it come a day faster?
Days faster, Mr. Dobie. It travels like lightning.
Days faster, then. I never cared for lightning anyways. Split Rock can get along right enough without it.
Oh, but Mr. Dobie...
Rush. It's a nuisance, that's what it is.
Oh, you wouldn't say that if the town of Split Rock ever needed help in a hurry.
Oh, get help from a little spindling wire like that? Oh, Split Rock's done all right so far, and will keep on doing all right. I'm just as glad it didn't come through this town. Aren't you, Shane?
Sure.
Well, anyway, I went over to see it. They got it strung over the top of the range already. Must be 20 miles past the summit. Just a long row of poles stretching out of sight, with one wire running from pole to pole as far as your eyes can see.
Well, you got any other news, boy? Your ma said you went to Crawford.
Oh, yes, sir, I did. Nothing much, just the usual.
Speak up. Just the usual. Trouble with you is your mind's full of nothing but that telegraph.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, folks in Crawford said there was rumors about a band of Geronimo's Indians wandering around somewheres.
Yeah? Apaches, eh?
They won't never bother us.
I don't reckon so, Mr. Dobie. There's nothing they'd want in Split Rock.
Shows how little you know about your own hometown. This time next week, there'll be 50,000 sitting right in my office. 50,000 gold.
Gold? Well, I didn't know that myself, Dobie.
Yep. Those prospectors up in Bitter Creek have been scraping it up for 3 months. That's their total.
Well, it's mighty interesting. Hope those Apache Indians don't hear about it.
They won't.
Or outlaws either.
We can handle any of them.
Oh, say, speaking of outlaws, that's another rumor I heard over in Crawford. Some rancher out that way saw 2 of them.
Oh, that's so? How do you know they was outlaws? Do you know them by sight?
Oh, no, sir. They were strangers to him. But he happened to see that one of them wore a black mask over his eyes. I guess only an outlaw would do that.
Yeah.
He said they had a pair of the best horses he ever saw, even from a distance. One of them was a paint, and the other was the biggest white stallion and the fastest horse. What's the matter, Mr. Shane? Something wrong?
No. Just recollect something I gotta do. Adios, youngster. Hope your ma don't give you a licking. Adios, Dobie.
Adios, Shane.
Oh, get up there.
Yes, real nice fella, Willard Shane. Minds his own business. You ought to be more like him, son. Be better for you.
Yes, sir.
Shane's got a good horse, too. I always admired a gent who can judge horseflesh.
Yes, sir. But this white stallion the rancher was talking about...
Doggone your hide. You're always thinking that anything in Split Rock can't be as good as something someplace else. Telegraph, horses, every...
Mr. Dobie, I'm beginning to worry about my son Tad. Well, land or living.
Hello, Ma.
Tad Jenkins.
Now, Ma, I just want a little bit out of the way.
Don't you now maw me, young man. If your father was alive, he'd take care of you proper, and maybe I will myself. Now, you get along. I'm going to talk to you after supper.
They're coming up ahead. Slow up, Tonto. Steady, Silver.
The man we're looking for may be here.
Maybe. We look pretty long time.
It's a sleepy little village.
This town of Split Rock.
Isn't the sort of place a man like Schlegel would pick out, is it?
No.
Still, you never know. Only way to make sure is to ask.
They're light and windy.
I'll wait for you here, Tonto. You go ahead and see what you can learn.
You wear a mask. They think you outlaw, maybe. Time to go. Come back soon. Get 'em up, Scout.
Shucks, I'm almost a grown man. I didn't wander far off. I just had to see the telegraph.
Oh, you're just like your father used to be, Tad. Reckon it's no use blaming you.
Oh, it won't happen again, Ma. I promise.
Stop right there, Tad Jenkins. No promises.
Huh?
You'll only be making a promise you won't be able to keep. But after this...
Yes'm.
Let me know beforehand, will you?
Yes'm. Oh, gee, Ma, you're swell.
What is it, Tad?
I hear something.
What?
A horse. Coming to the cabin. Now, be careful, Ma.
Oh, land's sakes, Tad, you're a caution. Just because you heard some stories about Indians and outlaws, you think...
You can't be too careful.
Oh, now, nothing ever happens in Split Rock. Go on, answer it.
Yes'm. Yeah, what do you... An Indian.
An Indian?
You not be afraid. Me friend. Me come in peace.
What do you want here?
Me look for man named Schlegel. You know him?
Why, there's no man by that name in Split Rock.
Him bad outlaw. Mask friend say to
That's
find him.
enough. So you got the gall to come here and ask right out for an outlaw, huh? I reckon you're one of them bad Indians.
Oh, you make big mistake. Put gun down before
You're the one that's making a mistake.
Tad, all he asked
And he got his answer. There's no Schlegel here and there never was. Is that your horse outside, Injun? Then straddle him pronto and vamoose out of here.
You not...
Tad, careful, he's wearing guns.
Me not use gun. Adios. We make camp out in range. If you learn about man named Schlegel, you tell us, huh?
Get going, Injun.
Old Scout, old feller. Get him up, Scout.
Tad, did you ever think you might be in the wrong? He didn't do any harm.
Well, supposing he was an Apache.
Oh, he looked like a right friendly Injun.
There! I knew it!
Huh?
Did you see that? That Injun was riding a paint, and he met another rider back a ways. The second man had a white horse.
Tad, the story you heard in Crawford.
Yeah, Ma, about the 2 outlaws. That was them. That's why the other man didn't come to the door himself, because of his mask. We'd have known right away he was an outlaw. Here, take the gun, Ma.
Tad, where are you going?
To tell Mr. Dobie to get a posse after those hombres right this minute.
What's that, Tad? Is this a straight story?
Straight as a telegraph wire, Mr. Doby. They left our place heading north.
How long ago?
10 minutes.
Keno, Tad. I reckon you wouldn't fool about something like this.
No, sir.
Well, get on your horse.
Yes, sir.
We'll rouse Shane and Parsons and all the men we can muster. We'll be on their trail before they get a mile further along.
It's just as well you didn't try to get the boy's gun, Tonto. His mother might have been hurt.
Me leave quick, like him say.
In a small town like that, he'd know everyone. You asked about Slagle?
Him say no Slagle in Split Rock. Mother say that, too.
There's no reason to doubt them. Looks like we followed a tumblewheel trail, Tonto.
We waste time.
That Slagle is somewhere in this section. I'm almost positive.
Maybe so.
He was seen with the telegraph crew. Even though that was a week ago, he might still be around.
Telegraph? Not close to Split Rock.
Then we'd better try the Madra Range.
Mountain plenty big. It take long time.
Well, our job is to smoke him out. We've got to find him, Tonto. He's dangerous.
That's right.
Take us 3 or 4 weeks to cover the mountain slopes, but we'll... Tonto, horses.
That's right. Tonto hear them, too. They come this way.
There they are. Hold, or we'll shoot you down.
Kimasabi, that posse. Why them come after us?
I don't know, Tonto. We've no quarrel with anyone.
All right, Mr. Doby. It's the Indians, the 3-1. And that must be the masked man with them. They're outlaws.
That boy in cabin.
They think we're outlaws.
And what we do?
No time to argue with them, Tonto. It's dark and they're nervous. They'll shoot first and talk later.
But Kimasabi...
Never mind. It's a mistake on their part. This is no time to tell them so. Gallop, Tonto. We'll leave them far behind.
Get up.
Come on, Silver.
There they go. They're riding fast. Better shoot. Let him have it. What's no use, Mr. Doby? We can't catch up with them. Not now.
Yeah, you're right, boy. All right, Ken, slow down. Rein up.
Gosh, they're clear out of sight already. They lit out of here like antelope.
Well, we're rid of them. They won't come back to Split Rock after this.
I reckon not. I wish we could have caught him.
Yeah?
Too bad Mr. Shane wasn't along with us. He's got a real fast horse. He might have done some good.
No, I doubt if his horse could have kept up with those two. It's mighty strange all the same.
What is, Mr. Doby?
Shane said nothing to me about taking a trip or anything. And yet he wasn't at his place when the posse called for him. Wonder where he went so sudden.
Now, you listen to me and listen close. As soon as it got dark, I saddled my horse and rode out of Split Rock. I hustled right over here.
What's the matter? Did the honest Mr. Willard Shane rob a bank?
No, I didn't rob a bank. That's not as humorous as you think, in-law. Because next week there will be something worth robbing in Split Rock. 50,000 in gold dust.
50,000?
Yes, in-law.
Well, that's fine and dandy. Little sleepy town like that? Will there be any soldiers around?
No soldiers.
You hear that, gents? Well, we got enough guns to wipe that town out easy. We'll do it. We'll get that gold dust next week, won't we, boys?
Hold on. There's one thing more. I rode out here in a hurry to tell you it won't be so easy.
Why not?
Kinlaw, did you ever hear of the Lone Ranger?
Lone Ranger? What's he got to do with this shebang?
I don't know, but he's been seen between Split Rock and Caldwell. Him and his Indian partner.
Do the people in Split Rock know who he is?
No, they don't, but you can't...
But nothing. That's all I want to know. They think he's an outlaw, huh?
Yes.
Keno. And we attack the town. We got enough guns to take care of everything, including the Lone Ranger.
Good, Kinlaw. That's what I've been waiting to hear you say. Wipe him out, including the Lone Ranger.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. to continue our story. A whole week passed without a sign of trouble. True to his word, the Lone Ranger had stayed near Split Rock, camped in the hills, but young Tad Jenkins never came out looking for him.
I've got a feeling something's wrong, Tonto. We're going to spend the rest of the night circling around, scouting this section. I thought I saw some riders in the hills. They looked as if they were trying to conceal themselves.
Stars fade out now. Dawn come pretty soon.
Yes. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps...
Kimosabe, what that?
Coming this way. Don't move, Tonto.
Plenty horse, plenty rider. Why them ride at night?
Quiet, Tonto. That's what we're going to find out.
We'll hit the town right at dawn. Take them by surprise, Sammy. They won't have a chance.
What do you mean? Who not have chance?
Figure it out, Tonto. Those men mean to attack the town. What else could it be? A dawn attack. I don't know why, but there it is.
What we do?
We'll head for town right now. We'll go in shooting our guns. It's the only way to rouse the town. Then at least they'll be awake when the outlaws strike. Come on, follow me.
Get them up, Scout.
Come on, Silver.
Ted, wake up.
Ma, what's wrong? What's the shooting for?
I don't know, Ted.
It's still dark outside. It's not even daybreak yet.
It's right down the street.
Sounds like trouble. Let me get my boots on. I'll go see.
So will I, son.
You better be careful, Ma.
The whole town will be out there. Must be something important. This is no time to be careful.
Well, then hurry up. Whatever it is, we don't want to miss it. Hurry up, Ma.
What's the idea? Rousing up the town. What's all the shooting for?
That's Mr. Dobie, Ma.
Don't believe a word of it.
It's beginning to get a little lighter.
Listen, Ma.
What I say is true. You've got your guns. You may have to use them. There's an outlaw band coming down from the Madras. They'll attack this town any minute.
Hey, slow, Hey, Ted, can you make them out?
I don't know exactly, Ma. There's a paint horse and a white horse, but it's the masked man.
What's that? Who's that talking?
It's me, Mr. Dobie, Tad Jenkins. That hombre and the white horse is a masked outlaw, and the others is Injun Pard.
Sakes alive, they must be after the gold.
Now, hold on, all of you. Tonto and I were after this gold. Would we ride in here shooting off our guns?
Well,
of course we wouldn't. Besides, we're not outlaws. We're working for the law, not against it. I'm telling you there's going to be an attack on this town any minute. Don't stand around. Get ready for it. Unless you...
What are we waiting for? These men are outlaws. Let's put them in jail.
Who said that?
Him and the Injun both got guns, Ma. I reckon it wouldn't be easy to do any shooting now.
Who said that? I didn't think you'd answer. Lurking in the crowd, weren't you? It's getting lighter all the time, and I've got you spotted, Mr. Tonto.
Tonto see him good.
Come out here, or we'll get you ourselves.
Stay away from me. Stay away.
Hey, Silver! Don't move, Slager.
Let go of me. Let go. Here, now, what's all this? You're making a mistake, mister. That man's name is Shane, not Slagle.
No outlaw can come in
Give
and
away
tell
from your
us...
guns. Tonto, make sure no one makes a move.
Tonto, make sure.
He's holding 6 shooters.
Now, Mr. Dobie, you seem to be the leader here, if there is one. I say this man is an outlaw named Slagle. He's been using the name Shane to hide out in your town. You want proof? Read this.
And I don't listen to him.
Well, go my hide. This here's a poster asking for the arrest of an outlaw named Slagle. And the picture proves that you're him. Do you deny it?
Well,
Look at his face, Dobie.
Yeah, mister. He can't deny it. We'll put him in jail already.
Shots. Look there.
What in thunder? It's an attack. This masked hombre must be right. Everything he says is so.
Come and get him, Kinlaw. Now's your chance.
That's where you're wrong, Slagle. These men are ready and they've got guns. All right, Dobie, Jenkins, Tonto, everyone. Take cover in the houses and hold them off. Use your guns.
Warned ahead of time by the Lone Ranger, the men of Split Rock were ready when the attack came. They poured a withering fire back at the outlaws circling the little town. All day long they held them off. But toward dusk, when the shooting slackened, the defenders clustered in Dobie's store got worried.
We've done all right so far, but what's going to happen when the darkness comes?
They got twice as many men as we have. It's just a question of time, mister. Even with you and the Indian, we haven't got a chance.
They'll wear us down sooner or later.
It's plenty bad.
Well, we mustn't give up.
All they're after is the 50,000 gold dust. Let them take that and release Shane. Slagle from the calaboose, and they'll ride off.
You can hold out a little while longer.
But what's the use, masked man? It'd be different if we was on a regular road. There'd be some people passing by that'd hear the shooting and ride for help.
Yeah, Split Rock is just a lonesome little town. Ain't more than once a month anybody comes near us, mister.
Gosh, it's too bad the telegraph don't come into town. We could call for help that way.
Telegraph.
Wait a minute, hold on. What's that, Tad?
Well, all I said was...
Yes, I know. What made you think of it? Is there a telegraph line anywhere near here?
Near nothing. It's 50 miles.
50 miles, is that all?
Might as well be 200.
Just a second, Dobie. 50 miles, huh? do you think, Tonto?
Maybe so.
There's an army post 100 miles from here. If they could send a force...
Gee, Horsefat, mister, it's no use. Why'd it take 2 days to reach that army post and 2 days more to get back? We can't hold out that long.
Won't be necessary to go all the way.
Huh?
Dobie, you man, listen to me. If you gathered everyone into this one building, you can hold out better, can't you?
I reckon so, mister. A little longer.
Then do it. Do it at once. Tonto will help you.
And Kimosabe, what you do?
I'm leaving, Tonto.
Swiftly, the townspeople were called to the building. The gray shadows of deepening twilight concealed them as they moved behind the shacks. 15 minutes later, Tonto slipped out of the door. He moved along the wall where the Lone Ranger watched.
Kimosabe.
Yes, Tonto. Everyone inside. Good. Silver. Here, boy. Steady, boy.
Kimosabe, you ride Silver through outlaws?
It's the only way. Silver's fast, and it's getting darker by the minute.
You take plenty chance. Maybe you stop Bullet.
Yeah, it's the only way, Tonto. Get back in the house. It's up to you, Kimosabe. Don't let them give up.
Tonto, try. You come back soon, huh?
As soon as I can. Hey, big fella. Howdy, Silver.
Adios. Adios, Kimosabe.
Adios, Tonto. Ready, boy? Ready, Silver.
Now.
Has he gone, Injun?
Him go.
He ain't reached him yet. And he'll never get through. Never.
You say that again, Tonto.
Easy, Injun. You hold your lips, Schlegel. You'll get a gag in addition to them ropes if you don't.
I wonder what the masked man's plan is.
I don't know, Tad. Maybe he's gone for help or maybe...
Shoot! Stopped. Did he make it?
Oh, big fella. Him make it. Him get through. You listen.
Speeding like a bullet, Silver left the outlaws far behind. Soon the Lone Ranger was riding in the clear, racing across the shadowed prairie.
50 miles to the Madre Mountains. Fetch those legs, Silver. Cover the ground.
Like a white flame whipped by the wind, Silver sped on his way. The moon rose, and under the pale stars, the tall man leaned forward in the saddle, his black mask close to the flying mane of the great stallion, his voice urging Silver on.
That's it, big fella. There's no horse like you in the West. We're heading up the slopes now, Silver. Faster, Silver, faster.
Up the long slopes toward the lifting hills, on through the night, until finally at a cut between two glistening snow-capped peaks.
The telegraph line. Steady, Silver. My knife. Climb the pole and cut the wire.
With Silver on guard below, the Lone Ranger climbed the telegraph pole. A knife gleamed in the night as he cut the wire.
I'm wearing gloves. Spark won't be retarded. Touching the wires together, I can send a message. Somebody's bound to hear it. Split Rock needs help. The Army's got to send help. The Army's got to send help.
It's almost morning, Tonto. You reckon we can hold out?
Masked friends say fight. We fight.
There's too many of them.
Don't be fools. Give up. Give us the gold and I'll see you don't get hung.
Looks hopeless with the masked man gone.
Yeah, he's gone and left you in a lurch. He deserted you.
That's where you're wrong, Schlegel.
Mister, you're back.
Kimosabe, Tonto glad to see you. You bring help.
I came back alone, Tonto, but help may be coming. Just hold out and keep...
May be coming. May? What do you mean?
Well, we can't be sure, Mrs. Jenkins. We sent a message. If the message got through, the Army will come here. If the message didn't get through, then...
Yeah, mister. Then?
And I'm afraid we're lost, Tad. But at least we'll go down fighting.
Have your rifle! Here they come again!
The attack was beaten off. So was the second attack, and the third, and the following night 3 more. Without the Lone Ranger, the defenders would have given up long before, but his flaming spirit sustained their courage.
Don't give up. Keep fighting.
We're getting mighty low on ammunition, mister.
Make every shot count. But keep on fighting. Don't give up.
So the fighting went on. 2 nights later, just at dusk, the outlaws attacked again. Dobie, sighting through a boarded-up window, pressed his trigger.
Bullets. I need some more bullets.
That's all the ammunition there is.
What's that? We're clean out of bullets.
That's right. This time we not stop 'em.
Yes, Tonto. They're coming closer. Well, we put up a good fight.
Listen,
At least...
mister, am I hearing things? It's a bugle, that's what, a bugle.
Yes, Ted, it's the Army.
They're safe.
The Army at last. Listen to them. Those outlaws haven't got a chance.
The Lone Ranger was right. The Army column swept down on the outlaws. In a few minutes, they were prisoners. And 15 minutes later, the Army captain was inside the store talking to Dobie and the others.
I reckon we got here just in time, Mr. Dobie. You sure did, Captain. I never heard so welcome a sound as that Army bugle. We got them all, and we'll take Slagle along also. Was it you that sent the message to us by telegraph?
Telegraph? Hey, Captain, is that how they did it?
Yes, son. Didn't you know?
You mean the masked man rode out and cut the wire and sent a message that way?
That's it. Well, I'll be doggone. Tad, I take back all I said about the telegraph. It's a wonderful invention. Well, it saved our lives.
Yes, sir. But, say, I wonder who that masked man is.
The masked man is gone?
Yes, sir, Captain. Him and the engine rode away as soon as the shooting was over. Didn't even wait for thanks.
He never does, son. He never... Captain, from the way you speak, you know who that man is, don't you? I certainly do, Mr. Dobie. That must have been the Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger? Hey, gosh, did you hear that, Ma? We met the Lone Ranger himself. Gosh.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
The Adventures of Jungle Jim. The Adventures of Jungle Jim, broadcast weekly over this station, is based on the characters from the full-color action pictures of the same name to be found in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest comic supplement that comes to you each week with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Each Sunday, 11 million adults and 6 million children enjoy the world's best artists and cartoonists featured in every issue of the Comic Weekly. Don't miss it. Get your Hearst Sunday newspaper next week and every week. And now, The Adventures of Jungle Jim. Jungle Jim and the mysterious Mr. Smith, captured and held prisoner on the island of San Rigo in the Caribbean, realized that they must escape this secret Nazi invasion base and warn our government of its existence. After much difficulty, they overpowered their guard and managed to steal an enemy pursuit plane that was warming up on the edge of the flying field. Immediately, 3 Nazi planes took off after them and peppered their plane with machine gun bullets. Jim, however, by skillful flying, was able to elude the Germans and headed their stolen Nazi ship for the United States.
Well, Smith, we're in the clear now. Not a sign of our pursuers for the last 20 minutes.
They must have turned back, Jim.
Yeah, there won't be much left of San Rigo when our bombers get through with it. Would I love to be... Hey, Smith.
Huh?
That plane.
What plane?
There, up ahead. Just popped through that cloud bank.
I thought we'd left those German planes behind us, Jim.
So did I. Better get our machine guns unlimbered. He's seen us and he's coming head on.
Right. I'll handle him.
Hold your fire like him up from under. And wait, Smith. That isn't a Nazi plane.
What?
No, it's an American patrol plane.
Say, Jim, isn't it a wonderful sight? Hey, he's firing at us, Jim.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's seen our insignia. Those swastikas.
What are you going to do?
There's no way of letting him know we're friends. We'll have to get away before he shoots us down. Hold on, we're going to dive for the water.
Better pull up, Jim. We're getting dangerously close to the water.
Right. Hold on, Smith. We're going to crack up. Smith, where are you?
Here, Jim. Hanging onto this piece of wing.
How are you?
Not so good. I think my leg's broken.
Hang on. I'm coming over. Be right with you, Smith.
Jim, this pain in my leg is killing me.
Here, Smith. Let me help you up on top of the wing.
No, it'll never hold me.
Now, look, Smith. We've been through a lot together lately. We're not going to give in now. Give me a hand, I'll lift you up. Give me a hand.
Okay, but...
No buts. There you are. High and dry.
What about you, Jim?
I'll stay right where I am. The water's fine.
You suppose they'll try to land and pick us up, Jim?
I'm afraid not, Smith. It's a land-based plane that got us.
He's still circling around up there.
Yeah, probably to see if we survive that crash. Now he's turning back to the mainland.
Then we're through, Jim. This piece of wing won't stay afloat forever.
No, Smith. He'll send help after us.
Maybe.
Why, we'll live to tell our grandchildren about this little adventure. Keep your chin up.
I hope you're right, Jim. I hope you're right. Water. Give me some water, please.
Wish I had it to give you, fella. How's that leg of yours? Pretty bad?
Plane. Where is it? You said they'd come back for us, Jim. You said that.
Don't worry, Smith. They'll be here. It isn't like our country to leave men to die. Whether they think we're enemies or not. They'll be back.
Yeah, but when? When, Jim? Oh, my leg is... Oh.
Smith. Passed out again. Oh, poor chap. Must be in pretty awful pain. Well, if you're going to come for us, friends, you'd better come soon. Yes, you'd better come mighty soon.
Jim, you still here?
Still with you, fella.
No plane yet, huh, Jim?
They'll be here, don't worry.
You're saying that to keep me going, aren't you, Jim?
No, Smith. I was never more certain of anything in all my life. Now, let's not talk about it anymore. How does that leg of yours feel?
Numb. I can't feel it anymore. But Jim.
Yes, Smith?
Let me get into the water for a while. You get up here on the wing.
Wouldn't think of it. I'm a regular fish. Feel uncomfortable out of water. Couldn't breathe.
You've been pretty swell, Jim. I don't know how to thank you.
Forget it. I'm perfectly comfortable. Say, wait a minute.
Huh?
Isn't that a plane?
Jim, you're right. Think they see us?
Well, they're coming right at us.
Hope it's not another land plane.
Oh, it's not. It's a PBY patrol plane, a flying boat. The English call them Catalinas. Boy, I never saw a more beautiful sight in all my life. Look, he's coming down the lane.
It's a Coast Guard plane, Jim.
Right. I told you they wouldn't leave us out here.
Ahoy! Ahoy there!
Ahoy, you heinies! Take it easy. We'll take you aboard.
They think we're Nazis, Smith.
Well, you can't blame them.
We're not Germans. We're Americans.
Americans? Now I'll tell one.
Oh, it's the truth, Captain.
Well, what are you doing in a Nazi plane?
It's a long story. We'll tell you when we get aboard.
Better be good, mister. It better be good. Grab that line there, mister. We'll haul you aboard. There. Got it?
Right.
What's the matter with your friend there? Is he hurt?
Broken leg, we think.
Smith, feel strong enough to hold onto this line? I don't know, Jim.
Well, I'll lash it around you just to make sure. Down to your arm. There, that's it. Okay, Captain.
Got a good grip?
Right. All the way.
All right. Here you come.
That's it. All right, Smith?
All right.
Easy. There.
Give me your hand. All right. Up you come.
Thanks. Now, up you come, Smith.
There we are. They're aboard, Pete. Let's get off.
Right, Captain.
And now, gentlemen, I think a little explanation is in order. How do you happen to be flying a Nazi pursuit ship? Well, Mr. Bradley, I've just been in touch with headquarters over the wireless, and they confirm your identity.
Glad to hear that, Captain. Being peacefully.
G2 seemed pretty anxious about you two. They'd given you up for lost when your plane didn't show up 2 days ago.
Is it only 2 days? It seems like 2 years. Did you send in the report we gave you on the Nazi base at San Rigo?
Right. Our Air Force will be working on that place with explosive calling cards very shortly now.
Well, I wish I could do a little of that work myself. I have a personal little feud I'd like to settle with a certain Nazi boy by the name of von Ehrman.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to leave von Ehrman to the Air Force, Bradley. I think there's a job waiting for you when we land.
Job? What kind of a job?
I can't say. All I know is that you're to report to a Mr. Murchison immediately. Mr. Murchison will give you your instructions.
Mr. Murchison?
Yes.
I'm Jim Bradley. You wanted to see me?
Oh, yes. Bradley. Yes, sit down. Sit down.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. I've heard a great deal about you, Bradley. You've been a pretty active man lately, haven't you?
I've had my share of action, sir.
More than your share, I'd say. You like action?
I haven't had much choice in the matter lately, sir. Sort of followed me around.
Yes, you and Smith have done an excellent job so far.
So far? Then I take it that there's more coming?
Yes, quite a bit. If you're successful. Well, I say you, Bradley, because from now on you'll have to travel a lone road.
Yes, sir. How is Mr. Smith?
Oh, much better. I just spoke to him on the phone from the hospital.
I'm going to run over and see him as soon as you're through with me, sir. I wanted to before, but my orders were to see you first.
Yes, orders. Can you obey orders, Bradley?
I'll do my best, sir.
Best, eh? Well, best is the only thing we can accept in this job, Bradley. One false step would be fatal for you. And, very serious for our country.
I see.
Yes, you must see this clearly, Bradley. The job I'm going to offer you is probably the most difficult one I've ever assigned.
Yes, sir?
It's a purely voluntary job, and it pays nothing in return.
I'm not looking for pay, Mr. Murchison.
Not speaking of money, Bradley. I can find 1 million men who will work for our country for nothing. But very few men who will take this job. Because it pays off only in disgrace and scorn.
Disgrace and scorn?
Yes. If you think the job's going to be too much for you, if you think that the price you'll have to pay will be too high, don't hesitate to refuse. I know what I'm asking.
My answer is yes, Mr. Murchison. My country needs me in any capacity. Well, when do I start?
Remember, Bradley, there'll be no flags flown for you. No honors. No medals. If people do speak of you, it'll be only with hatred.
My answer is still yes, Mr. Murchison. For the same reason.
Very well, Bradley. This is your assignment.
What is the new assignment that Mr. Murchison is offering Jungle Jim Bradley? What new adventures are ahead? Don't miss a single exciting installment of The Adventures of Jungle Jim, which comes to you every week at this same time over this same station. You can follow other adventures of Jungle Jim every Sunday in the Comic Weekly, among 18 pages of other comics and action pictures in full color. Containing the work of the world's best cartoonists and artists, the Comic Weekly comes to you every Sunday with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. You'll find such stellar attractions as George McManus's Bringing Up Father, Walt Disney's Donald Duck, Percy Crosby's Skippy, and a host of others, all in full color. Remember, the Comic Weekly comes to you every week with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Don't miss it.
Treasury Star Parade. With Henry Hall, Al Goodman, and his orchestra and chorus, and the youth of America speaking.
This is Henry Hall, ladies and gentlemen, with another of the programs brought to you by the Treasury Department. Several weeks ago, with material adapted from Gregor Zima's book, Education for Death, we brought you a challenge from the children of Germany to the parents and teachers of America. Today, the children of America answer that challenge. Let us die for Hitler, hysterically scream the German boys and girls. Let us live for America and those we love, shout the youth of America in reply.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Bill, did you see that new kid there, that foreigner? He never put his hand up to pledge, just stood there.
Oh, forget it, Mike. He's just a refugee. Moved in with Bob. He'll learn.
You betcha he'll learn. Wait till we get to the cafeteria for lunch. Hey, you! Hey! What's this, kid? Me? Yeah, you. Come here. Where do you come off not to pledge allegiance to the American flag, huh?
I do not know the words, but I will learn them.
Why don't you put up your hand in a salute, then?
I never put my hand up like that again. Never.
Oh, no, you do it quick enough if the stormtroopers told you to say Heil Hitler.
Nein.
And quit talking that language. You talk like us or go back where you came from.
Nein.
You leave him alone, Mike.
Mike, it's Bob. It's all right, hon. Now, you listen here, Mike, and get this straight. The next time you touch hands, I'll... Well, anyway, that kid's been licked enough. His father and mother were killed before his eyes because they defended Pastor Niemöller. Yeah. And the stormtroopers made the kid stand there with his hand outstretched, saying Heil Hitler, while they kicked the bodies out of the way.
His mother shot. And you trying to make him put his hand up, Mike?
Oh, Mike didn't know. All Hans knows is, well, our salute looks the same. Yeah, look at fellas, it does look the same. But a salute itself don't mean nothing. Can't you see the meaning's different? No, but we'll show him.
And Bob did show him, the American way. He took Hans to a state fair of the 4-H club.
Hey, that's a fine cat you got there, fella. You raise it?
Sure did. My dad gave him to me. It's got second prize. Hey, Ben, come here. This is my friend Ben. He's been raising white leghorns.
Hiya, Ben.
He got me 100 chicks from eggs my pop give me. All the eggs go to a camp for refugee kids near our farm. Excuse me. And there's my pop. Hiya, Pop, look.
Ever see anything like this in Germany, Hans?
Never. So much happiness in people's faces. But why do they not wear their uniforms?
Those farm clothes are their uniforms, Hans. Overalls and boots and straw hats.
But their leaders. Where are their leaders?
Leader? Oh, I get it. Well, their fathers and their mothers are their leaders, Hans. That's why the government formed the 4-H clubs. To keep farm kids on the land, growing things with their parents.
4-H? What is that?
Well, the 4-H's stand for heads, hearts, hands, and health. The 4-H's of American living, Hans.
No uniforms? No salutes? No fear?
No uniforms, no salutes, no fears. That's the American way. But that one word uniform stuck in Bob's craw. He was going to show Hans a real boy's uniform and a real boy's salute and pledge. Not the pledge you heard the children of Hitler's Germany make. Remember?
We live for our Führer. We die for our Führer.
No, not that pledge. Listen to our Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, uniformed but not regimented, disciplined but unterrified. Listen to their solemn, sincere young voices as Hans now hears them.
On my honor, I do my best to do my duty, to guard my country, and to obey the Scout law.
To help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
And now listen to the reports of their achievements.
We placed over 1 million posters for war saving bonds and stamps. That'll help win the war.
We collected over 10 million pounds of aluminum. That'll help make planes and ammunition. We grew and harvested 200 bushels of herbs for shipment abroad. That'll bring healing to the wounded.
We collected 50 million pounds of waste paper in 3 months.
We're training to take over routine duties in our local hospital. That'll relieve older people for defense work.
We collected 50,000 books for soldiers and sailors and Marines. I ain't no Boy Scout, but I got a job, too. I rounded up all the gangs in my neighborhood. The Italians, the Negroes, the Jews, the Swedes, everybody. They're plenty tough, see? But I told them we ain't got no time for private fights now. There's no use kidding ourselves. We got a witness war, so we'll never have another one. I got plans. I want to live. I want to be a master mechanic.
Those are the boys and girls of America, Hans. They want to live. They want to make plans. They want a future.
But they are marching without guns. Where are their guns?
Guns? I'm 14, Hans, but my father had never let me have a loaded gun.
But the guns are always loaded in Germany. But parents are not allowed to interfere in our training. They are punished when they do. My best friend, Felix. Oh, it was murder no matter what I thought. Said it was murder.
Oh, don't talk about it if you'd rather not, Hans.
Our leader. He was 14, too. A crack shot. Nervous. We have to obey our leaders. He wanted to have night practice. We took along our flashlights.
Stand still, boys. Hold up your flashlights. I will use them as targets. Good. What is that?
You hit Stephen in the arm.
He moved. Wind it up. Let us get on. You act like silly women. Felix, hold your flashlight to the right. So. Hold up your flashlight, Felix. You hear me? Do you hear me?
He cannot hold it up. He cannot hear you.
What?
You shot him through the forehead.
What did they do to the leader, Hans?
Transferred him to another troop. The boys had to swear Felix didn't hold the flashlight steady. When Felix's father called it murder, they locked him in a concentration camp.
Well, how do you like it so far, boys and girls of America? What do you think of it? Oh, you don't like it, eh? Well, we're going to give you a chance to say so. Hans has been receiving letters from a boy named Jano, who used to live next door to him in Hamburg. Jano's father's a stormtrooper. Jano's ambition is to become a stormtrooper, too. Take a look at the last letter Jano sent to Hans. I suppose you start reading it, Hans,
My dear Hans, You are stupid and sentimental to write that you love America. All the criminals and undesirables of Europe went to America. They are an inferior people. Thieves and weaklings.
Hey, who's he think he is? Inferior people. Bunk. I'm Irish. Good stock American Irish.
Hey, you Yano. Nobody in my family ever took a nickel, didn't belong to him. What do you mean, thieves?
Look here, boy, I'm from Harlem. My brother's a great American boxer. We sure ain't no weaklings in our family.
In your American school, sons, they still study geography. But we changed the map of the world to suit our Führer.
Geography is more to us than just lines on a map, you know. Those lines are places where Hitler destroyed cities and made kids homeless.
We learn to be fighters.
We learn to fight, too. But it's a fight to help other kids, you know. 13 million American boys and girls are producing things in school to help other kids live.
Kids work. While the boys in America are still playing toys with airplanes. Over here we are learning how to use bomb sights.
He's cracked. Who says we play with toys? We're making models of real fighting planes in our workshop to be used for the instruction of pilots.
500,000 of them. No, we're not playing, you know. We're helping to build weapons so we can live in peace and democracy.
We have a definition of democracy. Decadence.
We have one too, Yano. Knowing the other fellow's got an opinion, but not shooting him in the back because of it.
To raise successful boy, you must be ruthless. Ready to kill and happy to die.
Why, but you're mad, all of you. What do your parents do about all this?
My parents do not dare utter any protest. If they did, I should go to Gestapo.
I'd cut my tongue out before I'd squeal on my old man.
He's nuts. You don't tell on your father. Your mother. How'd he get that way, Hans? Your mother. Look, you're sick, see? You got a fever, maybe. She works hard. Ain't got no father. And it's your mother that counts most. She's tired. She needs sleep. But she knows you're sick. Everything's foggy. You stick out your hand. She's there. Sitting there all night, maybe, giving you water, holding up your head when you're sick. Never closing an eye. And she goes to work in the morning saying, "You're gonna be all right, son. You're gonna be all right." Hey, you! Yano! Nuts to you! We love our parents. We need them.
Soon there will be no parents. The state will be our father and our mother. The state can never grow old or useless. Our Führer says old people are useless. They must be destroyed. And we are destroying them.
It is no use. He cannot hear anything but what Hitler teaches.
He's got to hear. We're going to make him listen.
We listen only to our Führer. We know what he wishes for us. Power, purity of race. To see the swastika wave over the whole world. Heil Hitler!
It'll never wave here, Yano, not in our dear country.
We've got the only flag we'll ever have. The Stars and Stripes.
We know what we want in America. Freedom and peace. Now and forever.
Now and forever.
Listen to these words, Yano. Listen to them, Hitler. We're making a pledge. To our country, to our parents, to ourselves. And to that strong, gentle, humane man in the White House who watches over us. And we mean every word of it from the bottom of our hearts. Can you take the pledge now, huh? Say it with us.
I will.
There you have the answer of the youth of America to the youth of Germany. Today, every man and woman and child in America has pledged himself or herself to the task of winning this war. We have pledged ourselves to raising the money that we must have to help win the war. Now, the best way to raise that money is to buy United States war savings bonds and stamps. Draft our bonuses, our overtime pay, our dividends and profits for war. Our state, our city has a quota call it has to meet. We have a quota all our own. Let's meet it like Americans. Everywhere, factory assembly lines, on farm production lines, and on the nation's firing line, so that the American way of life will continue to flourish and be a beacon to all the world. We will fill our quota. 10% or more of our entire income in United States war bonds is our goal. Remember, this is your country. Keep it yours.
The United States Treasury Department thanks the distinguished artists who gave their talents to this transcribed performance and to this station for its facility. With a special bow to orchestra leader Harry Salter, who composed the music to the Pledge of Allegiance. The orchestra was under the direction of Al Goodman. Writing by Malcolm Meacham and Violet Atkins. Production by William A. Baker. This is Larry Elliott speaking.
Command Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America as requested by you, the fighting men of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Command Performance. Presented this week and every week till it's over there. Hello there, men. Here's Command Performance number 10, sparkling with the brightest stars in Hollywood who have come out tonight just for you. Our first letter is from Private First Class GRT, whereabouts known but censored. He says,
Dear Command Performance, a lot of us out here saw Pat O'Brien, that great picture, The Fighting 69th, and we'll always remember his characterization of Father Francis Patrick Duffy, regimental chaplain. Well, maybe it's just our imagination, but we've got a chaplain here who reminds us a lot of Pat O'Brien. Do you suppose you could get Pat to come on and say a few words for us?
What do you think, buddy? Here he is, one of the entertainment industry's biggest names, and a guy with a heart to match, Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Paul Douglas. And hello to Uncle Sam's fighting men all over the world. And incidentally, thanks Private First Class GRT for that grand letter. I suppose all of you at one time or another have heard of the Hollywood agent, the man who represents the artist and for this earns 10% of the performer's salary. Well, on Command Performance, there's no 10% for the agent, no 90% for the stars, just 100% for you. Here's our first letter. And you better listen sharply, because it's about the size of a fast telegram. From Jose Field, Puerto Rico.
Dear sir, I would like to request Sammy Kaye to sing Dear Mom, please, for my own dear mom. Thank you.
Private M.R. Only an American soldier could say so much in so few words. And here's your answer. Sammy Kaye with his orchestra and Dear Mom.
Dear Mom, dear Mom.
A letter from a soldier boy to his mother. These words by Alan Foster.
Dear Mom, the weather today was cloudy and damp. Your package arrived but was missing a stamp. Your cake made a hit with all the boys in the camp. How they love it. And Mom, the food is okay, don't worry your head. I sleep pretty well, but I miss my old bed. And oh, how I wish they'd make this Army co-ed, still I love it. If you should run into a certain you-know-who, please do this for me. Give her a kiss for me. Tell her to write me nightly, dear Mom. That's all for tonight. The bugle just blew. Tomorrow's a big day with plenty to do. I like it here, but I'm kinda homesick for you. For I love you, dear Mom.
Thank you, Sammy Kaye and Company. Now our weekly ration of news from the sporting world, presented by that popular man about town and former light heavyweight boxing champion of the world, Slapsy Maxie Rosenbloom.
Thanks, Pat, and hello, fellas. Gosh, there's so much going on in the sports world, I hardly know where to begin. Let me see now. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Mo, how did my brother get in there? Of course, you know the big news today is baseball. Last year, I was manager of a girls' baseball team myself. I'm afraid we're not going to have the team this year because all those girls became riveters at Lockheed. Of course, the big thing today is night baseball on account of everybody's working in defense plants during the day. The other night, I pitched a game. It lasted 23 innings. The umpire finally called the game on account of daylight. You know, a lot of people ask me how I could stay out there pitching so long. 23 innings. You know why? Because I'm a human domino. But I guess I'm afraid I'll have to quit soon because my doctor said I may get hit with the ball and get conclusion of the brain. Next week, as you probably know, they're running the Kentucky Derby. This year, I'm not going. No, sir. No more betting on horses for me. The last horse I bet on came in so late, he had to tiptoe into the stable so he wouldn't wake up the other horses. Now for some news about boxing. I read in a paper where Max Schmeling had given up his plans to make a comeback. While shadow boxing in a gymnasium, he mistook his own shadow for Joe Louis and said, "That's all, brother." By the way, I don't know if you fellas heard. This week, Abe Simon announced his retirement from the ring. I saw his fight with Louis, and I don't blame him. In the middle of the 6th round, Louis hit him and knocked him right through the ropes into my lap, where I was sitting in the first row. I said, "Get back there and fight." And Simon said, "Why should I? It's the first time in my life I ever sat in a $10 seat." Thanks. I read that. How's your thanks, Cardigan? Well, fellas, I told you all the sport news.
Now I'd like to ask you a favor. Really, I would. In visiting the camps, a lot of the soldiers showed me around, and I kept asking a lot of silly questions. Finally, down at Fort Knox, one soldier walked up to me and said, and he called me an imbecile. Well, what I'd like to know, fellas, is that higher than a second lieutenant? Well, I want to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to say hello, and good luck to you all. So long.
Thank you, Maxie, thank you. Nice pitching and nice switching, too. Out there on the highways, along the high seas, you men of the United States Merchant Marine are delivering the goods for this big business of war. Command performance is for fighting men only. And that means you, for they don't come any tougher than you guys. Tonight, especially for all of you in the Merchant Marine, that famous swing group, the Merrimacs, take an order for full steam ahead and give out with Hey Mabel.
When she's walking down the street, all the boys yell mighty sweet. Hey, Mabel, wait for me. When she wears that diamond ring, all the boys begin to sing. Hey, Mabel, wait for me. She's as popular as a gal can be, a household name in every family. But the one she wants so bad ain't the guy who yells like that. Hey, Mabel, wait for me. There's a girl who lives next door to me. She's got the fellas all of a tree. They go for her in a great big way, but she won't give 'em a tumble. And here is what she'll say.
When I'm walking down the street, all the boys yell mighty sweet.
Hey, Mabel!
Yeah.
Wait for me!
When I wear that diamond ring, all the boys begin to sing.
Hey, Mabel! Wait for me! She's as popular as a gal can be, a household name in every family.
But the one I want so bad ain't the guy who yells like mad.
Hey, Mabel! Wait for me. When she's walking down the street, all the boys yell so sweetly. Hey, Mabel, listen to me, Mabel, wait for me. When she wears a diamond ring, all the boys start singing. Hey, Mabel, listen to me, Mabel, wait for me. She is just as popular as a gal can be, and she has a wonderful personality. But the one she wants so bad ain't the guy who yells like mad. Hey, Mabel, wait up, wait up, wait up, wait up for me.
Thank you, our gratitude to the Merrimacs. Now here's a letter from KRC, who's with the Coast Guard somewhere in the North Atlantic. He didn't give his rank, but he says this. Dear Command Performance, our gang hardly believed it at first when you said right to Command Performance and the big stars will answer your request, but you're doing it, and no box tops either. And so here I am requesting Frank Morgan. We'll all be looking forward...
Oh, excuse me, Pat. May I intrude?
Well, if it isn't John Conte. I kind of expected you'd be popping in, John. There's a telegram here for you.
Oh, thanks. I wonder who it's from. See. Please see that Frank Morgan must be sure and go on April 23rd. Well, I'll be hanged.
You will? No kidding. Well, what is it?
This wire's from the radio sponsor that Morgan and I work for, Pat. Morgan's promised to write an article for them about coffee.
Coffee?
How does that guy get the nerve to sell him such a bill of goods?
Excuse me. Is Mr. Morgan here?
No, he's not here yet.
I'm from the printers. We printed an article for Mr. Morgan about coffee, and I brought the proof for him to look at.
Well, you better leave the stuff with me. I'll see that he gets it.
Okay.
Well, I still don't believe it.
I don't know why you're so suspicious, John. Frank must know what he's doing.
I guess so. Last week he did go to Maxwell House, and I've got the proof in my hand.
You can't have proof of anything, Jockey. I never stayed at that hotel. And
Right.
Now, listen, fellas, I don't know what you're trying to hang on me, but I swear I got those towels for a press.
Frank, we're not talking about towels.
You're not?
No, I got a wire about the article you promised to write. And here's the proof from the printers.
Article, proof. Oh, yes, let's see that, Cockney. Maxwell House Coffee and Authoritative Investigation. If you'd will. Oh, no. Oh, no. You can't hide to pin that on me. What? Gee, this is interesting. Hello, Meredith Wilson.
Hello. Oh, stop it. What about the article, Frank?
Yes. In conclusion, I would say this coffee is the finest coffee blend ever put on the market, and its flavor is enhanced by the regular grind and the drip, Frank Morgan. Just a minute. There should be a period after that drip.
Frank, tell me one thing, will you? Why would anybody come to you for an article about coffee?
Are you serious, Jockey?
Yes, I'm serious.
For generations, the Morgans have been coffee growers, starting with my grandfather, Silex Morgan. Trickling down through my Aunt Filter. And settling on the grounds of my Uncle Java. I'm losing my grip, fellas.
Did your ancestors just raise coffee beans?
No. My family have long been exponents of scientific agriculture, raising every conceivable kind of vegetables, and the name of Morgan is synonymous with crop. Those Japanese beetles have been at my note.
Frank, I can't follow this.
No, well, it's taking me a little time to get my bearings tonight. No. But when you speak of the soil and the fascinating products of Mother Nature, you strike a responsive chord in my breast.
Well, give him a chord, Meredith.
An A flat, if you please. No!
Now, you cut that out, John. Go on, Frank.
Yes, I'm not going to waste any more time around here. I'm going home to my conservatory and dilly with my dahlias.
Conservatory?
Yes.
Are you talking about that window box on your back porch?
I'm referring to my 10 acres under glass, Jockey. A gorgeous tapestry of flowers. Botanists come from miles away to tinker with my rare blooms, toy with my delicate ferns, and pinch my exotic fruits.
What do you do with all that stuff?
Well, it's my sole recreation these days. Every morning I get up early while the dew still sparkles on the grass, and in my bare feet I wander slipshod through the cowslips. And I'm glad.
He's getting into it now, folks.
Then on my way back, I snatch a kumquat from a low-hanging bough, pinch a magno to see if it's ripe, and carefully examine my citrus crops for curly leaf.
Citrus crops?
Yes, 1,000 trees heavy with oranges. And I can remember when I didn't have a pot to smudge in. Black orchid I tried to raise.
Yes?
Time and again I failed to bring the bud to full growth on account of the depredations of the plant pest known as Limex gastropodia.
Limex gastropodia? What's that?
The small slug.
I'll have a straight snort.
No chaser?
Just water.
Well, I'll take ginger. What are we...
Please stop that, John. Go on, Frank.
Thank you, Meredith. Where was I?
Fooling with some young buds.
Yes. They were pretty high school girls, and I thought... Wait a minute, I'm going home.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Frank.
What?
Did you ever raise the black orchid?
No, fate was against me. Really? When I got rid of the slugs, I battled aphides. Then came a siege of pincer pants. Believe it or not, gentlemen, for 9 long weeks, I had ants in my plants. I finally gave up in disgust and went on to some other experiments.
Oh, I know just how it feels, boy. Back in Mason City, we had some skunk cabbage on the South 40, and it drove us all...
Oh, silence!
Sure.
I was determined to produce a black flower with an attractive odor, so I engaged a young female botanist to assist me.
Uh-huh.
She was quite experienced in an unsophisticated sort of a way, and we spent many happy days together in my greenhouse.
Experimenting?
Of course. She was a pretty little thing, always neatly dressed in a garden costume as she worked on hybrids. Bloom. Well, she wore shorts, but you could... Oh, bloom! You mean flowers?
Yes, the flowers.
Certainly. Soon came the eventful day when I finally developed the black rose. I won the first prize.
Hold it. I was waiting for that.
Oh, you were?
You say you developed the black rose?
Well, I was one of the first. I did, didn't I?
You did not.
Oh.
The black rose was developed by Father Richard,
He did?
better known as the Padre of the Roses at Santa Barbara Mission.
Oh, Father Baba. Well, when the blue carnation first bloomed, I was the one...
You had nothing to do with it. That was Burbank.
It was, Burbank.
Yeah.
Glendale, Pomona. Well, I Meredith.
Can't think of anything, Frank.
No. You know about, botany? Cotany?
Flentony.
Well, then I guess I won't bore you.
No, you
with my
don't,
little,
Frank. Let off a lot of steam here tonight about raising flowers. Now tell us one thing you've experimented with.
Now look here, my forward young bumpkin. I'm not going to stand around.
Frank, for my sake.
Well, all right. Jockey, inasmuch as you're so familiar with plant raising, possibly you've heard about my experiment with the common forget-me-not and the bachelor button.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Well, then I can speak freely. I've recorded in the annals of the American Horticultural Society, you'll find a complete record of how I toiled ceaselessly to graft the bachelor's button onto the forget-me-not.
Did you finally do it, Frank?
I did, my boy.
And what was the result?
Zippers. Well, so long.
Calling Mrs. R.C.C. in Trinidad. Your letter of March 15th got into Hollywood a short time ago. That work that you and your husband and brother are doing down there as American civilians is what makes all of us 130 million fighting Americans, whether we're in uniform, overalls, or business suits. It's the pleasure of command performance to send you, the United States Volunteer Corps in Trinidad, Miss Frances Langford with 6 hits and a miss and the song Embraceable You.
Embrace me, my sweet embraceable you. Embrace me, you irreplaceable you. Just one look at you, my heart grew tipsy in me. You and you alone bring out the gypsy in me. I love all the many charms about you. Above all, I want my Mama, come to Mama, do. You sweet embrace of a I love all the many charms about you. Above all, I want my arms about you. Don't be a naughty baby. Come to your mama, do. You sweet embrace of you.
Thank you, Francis Langford. And now for the fighting men everywhere, we give you George Burns and Gracie Allen.
This is Gracie Allen, your Hollywood reporter, bringing you the latest inside gossip about...
I see. You're going to tell the boys what's going on in Hollywood, huh?
Well, sure, George. A soldier isn't interested only in the front he's fighting on. He's interested in the home front and all the other fronts. He's interested in Lana Turner and Betty Grable.
Never mind.
Well, I'm just bursting with news about film stars. Now, boys, take Ann Sheridan, for instance.
How long will that offer be open?
Oh, please. Oh, George, I've got some marvelous story to tell the boys about Dorothy Lamour and Paulette Goddard and Hetty Lamar. But first, don't you think I ought to tell them about Edna May Oliver? Forget it, huh?
I would, And if I were you, I'd forget the whole thing.
Well, I don't know why. I know my uncle was in the last war. He was a field marshal, and I used to write him all the gossip.
Your uncle was a field marshal?
Well, he wasn't exactly a field marshal. He was more like a Marshall Field.
Marshall Field?
Well, sort of between a Marshall Field and a court plaster.
Huh?
Well, what I mean is, every time he was plastered, he got court-martialed.
I see what you mean.
He was more like a brigadier general.
A brigadier general?
Well, no, he wasn't exactly a brigadier general. He was generally in the brig.
He probably was a second lieutenant.
That's what he was, the second lieutenant.
Yeah. And he liked all the gossip about Hollywood.
Yeah, that's why I know the boys will like it. So, fellows, I have a little surprise for you. You'll soon receive those nice backless sweaters that I've been knitting for you.
Just a minute. You've been knitting backless sweaters?
Well, yeah. The Red Cross told me to knit some sweaters for the boys at the front.
Now I know where that old joke comes from. I see you're back from the front.
Oh, please.
Well, it's bad, but it's all right.
Well, now here's a piece of scandal, fellas. The studios won't let Gene Autry or any other cowboy star sing Deep in the Heart of Texas.
I give up. Why not?
Well, because when they get to that part where they clap their hands together, they always fall off their horses.
Well, I hope Gene Autry doesn't fall on his guitar.
His guitar? Oh, and boys, here's a piece of inside information that's absolutely exclusive.
Go right ahead.
I found out the real reason why Veronica Lake wears her hair over one eye.
Why?
She likes it that way.
Well, I hope the FBI doesn't find out about it.
Oh, and boys, here's something you'd never guess. Madeline Carroll is very nearsighted.
Wait a minute. She's nearsighted?
Yeah, George. I was out with her the other day, and she said, Gracie, don't look now, but here comes a wolf. And when he came up close, it was Bob Hope.
I say.
You know, she ought to wear glasses.
No. Look, Gracie, a wolf is a fellow who's always running after girls.
Oh, I see. Bob likes the girls, I gather.
That's right.
I bet he likes the girls he gathers,
That's
too.
right, too.
See, George, you know that other fellow who's on the radio isn't that way at all. You know, we saw him at the Brown Derby. Oh, he's an Indian.
An Indian?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Red Skelton.
Red Skelton?
Yeah, don't you remember he was sitting with Edgar Bergen?
Well, he isn't an Indian.
Oh. No?
No.
Well, then who scalped Edgar Bergen?
He went to Anami Baba.
Oh. Well, anyway, boys, this gossip about Red Skelton is that he had to give up playing the cello.
Well, why?
Well, his landlady wouldn't let him take it up to his room unless he married it. Oh, and fellas, if you ever meet Irene Dunn, there's something I want to tell you about Irene
Gracie,
Dunn.
what's Irene Dunn doing?
Done doing? Dodge, what kind of English is that?
What English is that? I says, what's Irene Dunn doing?
You mean, what's Irene Dunn?
Gracie, isn't Irene Dunn a motion picture star?
Yeah, I saw her in Penny Serenade.
Well, that's the picture that Irene Dunn did.
Done did. Well, that's even worse than done doing.
Look, Gracie, when Irene Dunn does a picture, it doesn't mean that Irene Dunn done a picture. It means that Irene Dunn did a picture, and the picture that Dunn did is what Dunn's done.
Well, I've got to go now, boys. Come on, George. I'll take your left arm, and the nurse will take your right. Don't worry, nobody can hurt you.
Oh.
So long, boys, and good luck.
Well, fellas, that's it for this time. Before we say goodnight, though, we want to take a moment right now to tip our hats and to tip our hearts to you fellas up there in the front line. This is Pat O'Brien saying so long to each and every member of Uncle Sam's Armed Forces. And by the way, if you happen to bump into a certain paper hanger, give him a little paste just for me, will you?
Remember, gang, we'll be with you again real soon, but right now we've got to knock off. In the meantime, fella, you knock 'em off over there.
Hiya, fellas. It's GI Jive time in the old AEF jukebox of the air. And this is Jill inviting you to join me again in another session of Swingin' Sweet. As you know, these records are all stacked according to your request, so here's hoping your favorite is in today's lineup. First on the turntable is one of the biggest request records we have. It's Charlie Barnett's Cherokee. The dedications on Cherokee will have to be by the numbers, fellas, because there are too many to call by name. So thanks to APO 702, 928, 958, 726, 464, 520, and that's all. Now, one of my favorite records, dedicated to Private Edward Wayne at APO 322 and Jackson at Navy 926. It's the Pied Pipers singing A Journey to a Star.
That little star is way up in the sky, but you and I could fly as high tonight. If you'd agree how easy it would be for both of us to make that flight. Our journey to a star would not be very far as long as I'm alone with you. Romantic as we are, our journey to a star could start before the dawn breaks through. You're right beside my heart, we're just about a kiss apart, and we could make a dream come true. A moment of your love would have a feeling of a journey to a star with you. Apart, and we could make a dream come true. A moment of your love would have a feeling of a journey to a star with you.
Say, fellas, this next record wasn't requested, but I thought probably you men who are real record collectors would enjoy hearing it. It's the quintet of the Hot Club of France. As far as I can learn, the group featured Stephen Grafaldi and Django Reinhardt. They were considered at one time to be one of the outstanding quintets in the field of jazz. Many of their records have been on collectors' lists for a number of years, and now we spin one of their many sought-after recordings. A takeoff on the Paramount newsreel theme, Paramount Stomp. before Tommy Dorsey winds this session up, a word about requests. You send them in on an email, we send them out on a record. So let me know what you want at GI Jive, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA. And now for Private Joseph Reed and the men at APO 957, Tommy Dorsey, Cy Oliver, and Joe Stafford get together on that swell arrangement of Yes, Indeed.
Making with jive for you shout when it hits you. Yes, indeed. Yes, yes. Yes, you shout when it hits you. Yes, indeed. When the spirit moves, you shout hallelujah. I mean, when it hits you, you holler. Yes, indeed. Yes, yes. You shout, let me in there. Well, all right then. When it hits you, you holler. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay, fellas, that wraps it up for now. And in case you tuned in late, the band and tune lineup included Cherokee by Charlie Barnett, the Pied Pipers singing A Journey to a Star, the quintet of the Hot Club of France doing a takeoff on the Paramount newsreel theme, Paramount Stomp, and the last record, Yes Indeed, by Tommy Dorsey. Thanks a lot for being on the beam. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, this is your GI gal Jill saying good morning to some of you, good afternoon to some more of you, and to the rest of you, good night.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
At ease and listen to the folk songs of tomorrow.
Just a cottage small by a waterfall at the closing of the day, with someone to wait by a garden gate, who will charm your troubles away. Be it humble and all tumble down, if there's love to welcome you. Just a cottage small by a waterfall is a place where dreams come be so happy, we'll always sing if we remember one little thing. A little kiss each morning, a little kiss each night. Who cares if hard luck Maybe a head, an empty cupboard, a crust of bread, a little kiss each morning, a little kiss each night. Dreams may disappoint us, as they often do. Bring your tears to me, dear, I'll bring mine to you. Though hair so golden may turn to gray, I'll call you sweetheart the same old way. A little kiss each morning, a little kiss each night.
Today's program in the series At Ease brought you Dream Lover, Willow Weep for Me, Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, Just a Cottage Small by a Waterfall, Whose Dream Are You, Say It With Music, A Little Kiss Each Morning, I Hadn't Anyone Till You, Cecilia, and Isn't This the Night for Love? Armed Forces Radio Orchestra, your soloist was Martha Mears, Les Paul on the electric guitar. This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Thank you.